Yes, people. We are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another edition of the Sarcasm City TV special, second wave edition. It's where I sit down one-on-one with a selected content creator and get their entire backstory from the very beginning all the way up until present day. Big up to everyone who's been supporting and watching all of the Sarcasm City TV special second wave editions all week long. Big up to all of the guests because all of them have been fire. All of them have been fire. You've had the longer ones in regards to the Mons one was 4 hours. The Northside one, I believe, was 3 hours. But shout out to Potts. Big up Savo. Shout out to Judge Mo as well. Don't want to forget anybody. I've all been absolutely fire and been very, very, very well received by everyone in the chat. For those that may not know what I'm talking about in regards to why I've called this the second wave, this is for the future GOATs. This is for the future Mount Rushmore candidates, the future superstars. This is the second wave, the second class, the people that are on the come up and are going to get to where everyone else are going to get to, the gold class. And this is no criticism of any one people because I put myself in that class. So it's not a criticism or a slight on anybody's work. So this person I'm going to introduce, I was thinking when I was putting the series together, and when I thought of him, I was like, man don't get the flowers he deserves for just being as consistently good and at everything, like in regards to the space. Man's not only does he build his own channel, then he's got Cody's around him that he's with. Then they had spin-offs of of their own channel. And then you see him get guests on. I've been generous and fortunate enough, I should say, to be on there. And you'll see him hosting panels with other fans. City fan, so it'll be hosting fans with City fans. Hosting panels alongside City fans as well. And what I will say is, man, he represents the club properly. As much as I dislike Manchester City, I can put my bias to the side and go, if I was a City fan, I want him representing my football club. Super professional. Setup, super professional. Opinions on point. I was fortunate enough to be a part of probably the first big show I was on, which was Battle of the North, and he was a quartet on that, and he was a part of the quartet. And people may mention, me and Sam going back and forth, but he was an underrated part of that show. I go as far to say that show wouldn't have been that show without him. If it was just me, Matisse, and Sam, that show don't hit. Like I say, people can talk about the debates we're having, etc., etc. What's up? I'm here working. Be quiet. Right, I'm working. I'll see you later. Touch me. Clap. All right, bless. Sorry, people. And he's just interrupting. But as I was saying, that show wouldn't have been the same without him, and that's credit to him. And then you've seen how Never a Foul has absolutely blew up and gone absolutely clear. I see regular clips where they're going viral all of the time. Regular clips. And the ability to, one, not only put panels together, two, have the chemistry right, and he's the controller over there as well. And fortunate enough, like I said, I've worked with him from very, very early. So then I got to introduce none other to the show. I call him Mr. Never a Foul himself. Man like Daps is in the building. Yes, Daps, what are you telling me, man?
You know what? You've given me so many talking points already. You know what? The first one, thank you for everything you said, but I'm going to be real from the start. Never a Foul is my baby, but ever will be my baby. But there's someone in the comments. I know he's already here already. He lives with me. Cass, Cass is a driving force behind Never a Foul.
Shout out to Cass. Never a shout out.
Like I'm more than happy to say I stuck like me and Ty. Shout out Ty, Soups, Chris, everyone, Mo as well. Everyone that's been on the journey. But Cass is the golden child that fucking I had to get involved. Yeah,
of course.
He is a driving force. Like,
yeah, but you got to understand from my perspective when I met. Never, like when I was first introduced to Never a Foul and met, it was through you.
Yeah.
You was the driving force.
Do you know what?
I'm saying
maybe I deserve some ratings for spotting Cass and getting Cass involved. And do you know what? Believing in Cass, and Cass also, like me and Cass's journey is a whole different journey. Yeah, but like the love I've got for that guy, and everyone needs to understand. Like, that guy is a driving force now.
Of course.
It's still, but Never a Foul will forever be my baby.
That's what I'm saying. You birthed it. So that's why when I said I think of you as the face is because you the originator. And this is just everyone's going to be different from depending on when they see in the channel. And this is no shot at Cass. I know Cass be doing tremendous work over there. Same way he be working on BSB as well, closely with Mons and vice versa. So I know that 107%.
Yeah. I just want to make sure he does get his flowers. But listen, never a foul. It was a
carry on.
Do you know what? It wasn't even a vision. But let's not start there. Firstly, thank you for having me on, bro. I miss Battle of the North. I'm not gonna lie. What are you saying?
Yeah, Battle of the North is fire. Yeah, man. I'm blessed. Battle of the North is fire. If you're gonna sit here, you gotta be quiet, okay? I'm working. All right.
Okay, I'll just be watching here.
Okay, you go watch it. But yeah, we're here, people.
You ain't gonna be
working.
quiet.
You already know.
There's no quietness going on around here.
Right. Shh. Go over. Go eat. Go on.
Stop.
Go on. I'm working. Go on. See you later. Well, yeah, people. Apologies on the introduction, but you don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Future goats and that. You know what I'm saying? Making noise. But that's what it's all about, is giving you your flowers. So that's why I said what I said on the intro, because you mentioned it there. And big up to Cass, and we'll definitely discuss how he got involved in Never a Foul. When I met the channel, you said it there yourself. You the originator. You're the face to me. You know what I'm saying? Even though the stuff is working on there, you're the originator. You're the person I think of first when I think of Never a Foul. So that's why I said.
And when we get to it, because we'll start before Never a Foul and all of that. But when we get to a point when Never a Foul first came around, like, you were very relevant to Never a Foul as well, extremely relevant, and not just Never a Foul, but to me as well. Like, and to where I was then, like, bro, real talk, like, big time.
I hear you, man. And that's what this show is all about, people. It's about giving people their flowers, and giving Daps his flowers as one of the best content creators in it. Is one of the best in the class. So that's why it is. Make sure you run up the likes, though. Subscribe to Never a Foul. The link is in the title already. Hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to Sarcasm City TV, and please make sure you subscribe to Never a Foul. So that's what we're gonna do. Jump in the time machine and go back to the very beginning. So way back. So before Never a Foul, like, what was your first introduction into the content creator space that made you create Never a Foul and get involved?
So, but if we go before content creation, because it still was creating content, I guess, was when I was like 16, I used to run event. Well, from the age of about 13, 14, I was DJing in my bedroom, and then me and two friends at school started booking out village halls and running events there. One thing led to another. Started booking out venues in Bedford, where I live, and throwing events. So I guess the first path to this was being involved in the music side of things, because I guess if I wasn't involved in that, I probably never would have got anywhere near doing stuff like this and being able to come and openly be in front of a camera and all of that. So so basically where I'm from, I started throwing events, big grime events called Rep Your Manor, and I paid Dizzy Rascal £50, put it that way, to come and MC. Itch, Kano, like, classics. Our raves outside of Bedford. Like, I wouldn't book Wiley. Wiley would ring me and say, "Yo, Daps, I see you got an event on. Can I pass through?" Like, one of them. You know how Wiley is. You don't turn up. You don't book him. He's ringing saying, "Can you put me on the guest list?" So shout
out to Wiley, man. Shout out to Wiley, for real. There's some classic names you just mentioned, man. Kano,
Wiley, Big Nasty. Like anyone, like in grime days. And as far as a DJ, I always played R&B and hip hop, but obviously a lot of my friends from Road were MCs, DJs, and whatever. And we formed a crew called Macabre Unit. Macabre Unit produced some of the biggest rhythm that were played at Sidewinders. Like, if I played you them, you'd be like, yeah, I get it. Even now, like that recent chipset, a few of them are going off. And then also my other lot from Milton Keynes and Hold Tight FT, who made our intro and a lot of the music we use. They were called Imp Batch, so I DJ'd for Macabre and Imp Batch on a grime thing just because they needed a DJ, and we played at Sidewinders all over the country. Played on One Extra a lot. FT, my boy FT, he made sing-along. So I was involved.
Man said he made sing-along, you know.
Well, not just that. That is obviously that's a Hold Tight Titch as well. Like that is a classic. But the other thing with FT is, or Machine Man Tim, who is now, he actually also made the outro on Nines' first album and the outro on Nines' last album. So that's the crazy. Same guy that made Sing Along. Yeah. So I'm saying about the music scene because that was the start of me probably being out there and having the confidence to kind of be there and whatever.
Yeah.
So that was when I was young, doing radio and all of that. Then fast forward, 10 years.
So from 06 to 2016.
Yeah, about that.
Okay,
round about that.
Right. So we get a rough. So we get a rough timeline.
Obviously, things. I was doing life in it. I was doing life, put it that way, and work, other things, and whatever, and kind of stopped doing music because I was just doing other stuff. Then decided, you know what, got back involved in music and was running uni raves in Bedford, where I was getting like the funniest one I got then is I used to have what's his name? Did Drogba? You know the rhythm Drogba.
Oh yeah. Joe Ada. Joe. Yeah, that tune's a banger. Afrobeat.
Afrobeat. That's who it was.
That tune is
we used to book Afrobeat as a DJ. Then next minute, one time I'm ringing him up to book him as a DJ. It's like, you got to go through my agent. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm an artist now. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
and next minute he's doing that. So yeah. Then I started getting involved in that. And then got married, ultimately. And when I got married, decided, DJ, knock it on the head, because being out 3-4 nights a week around women and whatever else is and
it's not ideal.
Nah. So then I had this period where I was just, I was just doing, being a normal person with a day job, doing life, having my daughter, all of that good stuff. Obviously, football has always been there, forever been there. And then fast forward to COVID. And when COVID started, I had the back of my garage, which is what everyone knows where I used to stream from. And when I knew COVID was coming, I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I need to turn this into a little man den where we can catch up and whatever. So did that. And then me and Soups, because we were bored, we're like, do you know what? Let's start doing radio again. So we started doing radio again. But this time, it wasn't like radio back in the day where it was just audio. We had cameras and whatever. And whenever I do something, I like to do it properly. So I was like, you know what? Let's get a proper setup, multiple cameras, and have it so that we can switch between. So started doing that. And at that point, then Hold Tight Ty, who obviously everyone knows from from Never a Foul, but also
Money Talk. Shout out to Ty.
So I've known Ty from young barbershop. I'm going to say barbershop, but from younger than barbershop. Like his brother was one of my brethrens back in the day, back in the grime scene and whatever. His brother was an MC, and he reached me and him would always banter and have football conversations in the barbershop, and he was like, yeah, you've got this setup, I heard, like contacted me. Do you want to do a podcast thing? So I was like, yeah, right. And that's how Never a Foul started.
So he just contacted you out. So Ty just contacted you out of the blue and was like, do you want to do a footballing podcast?
It was him. Yeah.
It was him. So, and had you, before you carry on, had you watched any content, football content before that? So you had no idea about it whatsoever.
When I tell you, at that point, the only podcasts I'd watch, I watched a lot of Joe Rogan, a lot of UFC podcasts, a lot of and then Chucky Online.
I know that. Yeah. The name rings a bell. The at on Twitter, that rings a bell.
Yeah, more that type, not football.
Okay, but it's not sporting related. So he's just
because as a City fan, there was no one. The only one was probably Esteemed Company, and so I didn't really. I knew about AFTV, of course. Okay. I knew about AFTV.
So you knew about AFTV. You wasn't really watching it like that.
Nah, because it's Arsenal, innit? Bro, until you really invest into this football YouTube thing, you don't really.
Your primate of TV needs to. I wish I could relive that era.
Now, in hindsight, being involved, elite. But back then,
you just didn't look at it that way. Nah, that's fair.
Like,
Trust me.
To games, and that was it. I wasn't involved in like. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have Instagram. None of that. I didn't like.
Didn't have no socials like that.
Okay. When I stopped DJing, I purposely came off of all socials, like because it was like, do you know what? I'm putting an end to a certain chapter of my life, if you know what I mean. Like,
no, that's fair. That's why I thought so. Tyus just rang you out of the blue and said, "Let's do a football podcast," and you're on it. And this was 2021, correct?
2020, I think that was
2020.
I was trying to work this out earlier. I think it was the summer of the first COVID, which I'm pretty certain was 2020. So
okay, hey, chat, let us know. I can't remember which one was the first summer, but let's say it's 2020/21. The chat will let us know.
Yeah.
So then he's rang you and said, "Let's do a podcast," and you just said, "Yeah," straight away, and you was with it.
Well, I said, "Bro, I've got this space. I'm down."
You was like, okay.
Like I know nothing about none of this, but ultimately, it's one of them things where if it involves being in front of a camera and talking shit, then cool, I can be in front of a camera and talk shit, no problem. There's no so. He was like, okay, I think he was on holiday at the time. He was like, when I get back, I'll come round. And I said, cool, I'll get Soups over. And straight away, he was like, why Soups? And it was one of these things that, like, if I'm involved in something, Soups is my right hand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the right hand man. Yeah, that's Cody.
Like, and he... Like he's sick at designing. He's more technical than me and all of that. I was like, bro, just come round, and I said, because he wanted, the idea was to do as a studio thing, and I was like, well, unless you've got someone that's going to do the editing, do this, do that, trust me, we're going to need Soups. So let me bring it. And then he came round, and straight away we had some cameras set up, and we showed him how it would work, and he was like, yeah. And then from there, like. We came up with a name. The original name was Football. It was Football. Right. Who's the touchline? Someone that Tobes.
What touchline? What is it? Touchline Talks or something like that.
So there's this lot from London that Tobes used to be part of. It's Touchline Fracas.
Anyone? Oh yeah, I remember the name Touchline Fracas. Yeah, I remember Touchline Fracas.
Touchline Fracas. So, but again, when I'm telling you. We like me and Soups we weren't involved in none of this football YouTube stuff, and Ty was limited. So we came up with a name and then got the artwork done, released it. And the minute we released it, straight away, people were like, oh, you're copying their name. And they used Touchline, we used Touchline. They had a different word we did, but both logos had green on football. And straight away, I was like, what? Message these people back and tell them to suck their mum, all that crap. And Ty was like, nah, Daps, you don't do Twitter like that. Like, don't do that, because so I'm like, all right. And then we looked into it and we're like, yeah, you know what, we should change our name. So then we changed it to Never a Foul. And
who came up with the name Never a Foul?
We were having this conversation the other day. I don't know.
Can't remember. Okay, nah, fair enough.
It was ultimately me, Ty, or Soups.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Ty, but I don't know, to be honest with you.
That's fair. So it's you three, it's you, it's Ty, it's Soups. You come out with the idea of the Touchline Fracas name. You then put it out.
It was similar. I think it was Touchline Topics. I think
I remember the Touchline Fracas. I remember. Was it it might have been Football Fracas or something like that. But yeah, because Fracas. Now you said it rings a bell. I remember who. Yeah,
I think that was them, and like they were quite big. Like they had. I think they had like different groups for different teams and whatever, and they were doing their thing. Definitely, I'm pretty certain Tobes was part of them. I'm
looking there. Yeah, Touchline Fracas has popped up. I just literally googled it right now.
Didn't Tobes used to be called Touchline Tobes?
He might have been. The chat will know better than me. I don't know for sure.
But anyway, So and then it was. So then we scheduled. Right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do one show a week every Wednesday in the Man Cave, and like we hollered a few people local that like support Chelsea, like Ty's boy, Claudio, hold tight to him. He supports Chelsea.
Mm.
Thiago's father, who's on Twitter now, still Liverpool fan. Got him. My boy Mario, who lives up the road, got him. And it was a case of people come over and we just discuss 3 topics and record it. And bro, it was good. The standards were good for an entry level, yeah. But bro, when I'm telling you, those Wednesday nights were long, yeah, because like we were trying to operate on a basic PC using OBS and like just
okay. So this is not lives. This is you lot recorded it and then put it out on YouTube,
bro. And it was and then editing and like we'd record, then realize we hadn't turned the mic on, and like thing that should take 40 minutes would take 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd said from the start, Ty, listen, you are a host. Even to this day, Ty, you're a host. You host it. You do this and that. I'm just going to get the drinks in, and whoever you bring over, because I didn't know all of his people, I'm going to make them feel comfortable. I'm going to give them shots, get them waved, and and that's how it was. And it was a vibe doing it, but it was long because like things were going wrong, technicals, and then that's when lives popped up. And then when lives popped up, everything changed in it. We all know lives just became, we don't have to edit no more. We don't have to.
Oh, so did you lives linked up with you, man? And then
lives is in being able to do live.
Oh, you mean live streams? Okay.
We were doing uploads, and it was only when the lives came about that we were like, we've been missing a trick.
So how long was the period from when you started and was uploading pre-records to then live?
I reckon only about 2-3 months.
2-3 months, and then the decision. Was the decision then to do live solely because you was having issue with editing and things of that nature, and you was like, that cuts all that out?
It was. Do you know what it was? The journey was big, right? So
talk about it. And big up to Steve, Big Steve for the raid as well. Shouts to Big Steve as well. Every time. Got you, Cass. Blessed for that. Go on, fam.
So quite early doors, like Ty's boy Claudio, who's coming over, was saying, I want to start up my own channel called The Blue Wave. So then I was like, and he wanted our help with it, a Chelsea channel. And I was like, all right, well, how about, and Northside touched on this the other night. I was like, how about you start up a channel? We'll do all of the thumbnails. We'll do everything. We'll set up all the shows, everything. You just do it. If there's any editing. And at this point, me and Soups were still editing videos and putting little funny pictures on there and whatever. And we do a 50-50 thing. And it comes under the Never Fail banner, but it's a separate YouTube channel.
Right. Who came up with that idea?
No. In fact, I tell a lie. It wasn't a separate channel. Initially, I said it will be. Was it? No. Initially, it was a separate channel, but under the Never Fail, it was me that came up with that.
You came up with the idea. All right, have a Chelsea show, but under the Never Fail banner, and we'll do thumbnails and the edit separate channel. Okay.
Separate channel. And then from that, it went to, so then we had the Blue Wave, which was a Chelsea one. We had the Arsenal Way, which was an Arsenal channel. That's the one that Northside got involved with, a few other people. Okay. We had Trafford Tunnel, which you might remember. I
do remember Trafford Tunnel. Yeah. That's why when I mentioned the spin-off show, I remember Trafford Tunnel. Yeah.
Then we had Feed the Goat, which was a City one, which me and a couple of other people did. I purposely wasn't the main person because I was like, nah. And at this point, I was basically the Cass of Never Fail. I was doing, like, between me and Soups, we were doing the thumbnails. I was scheduling all of that. We had a Tottenham one called Views from the Skywalk, I think it's called. That show was cold. Yeah. That show had, can you remember Tanya? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. I know Tanya.
So it had her, it had Callum, hold tight Callum and Ash. And their chemistry and their banter was, bro, their shows were levels, Like they were the ones where I was like, yeah, this is the type of content I can watch. What else? Then we had Liverpool one as well. And we started off doing that. And on all of them, it was a kind of 50-50 thing where we'll You own 50%, we own 50%. But you got to remember, at this point, we weren't monetizing.
It's not big money for me. Before we carry on, though, what made you already? Because you've only a few months into this thing, you just started going live. What made you come up with the idea of, okay, you lot create new channels and we'll help you out and we'll own them 50-50? Because that's smart. That's very, very smart already. What made you come up with the idea?
Because that's probably what I do best, probably.
You reckon that's what it is, like the
thought
process and thing? Was that smart at the very beginning to be like, okay, we got never audio gonna go like that's credit to you. That is big credit to you.
It got deeper than that as well. Like it got to the point where very quickly we kind of realized, you know what, it's better, or we thought we were wrong, by the way, but at the time we thought, actually, let's forget these channels and bring them all in line on Never a Foul.
Okay.
So we kind of, that was 6. So we had 6 months doing that, saw the growth and whatever. Months. And then I got my boy Chris involved, one of my best friends, who he's never worked a day in his life. He's just one of them guys that like if he has an idea, he runs with it. So I got him involved, and because I was bouncing my ideas off of him, he was like, I want involved. I was like, listen, we're going to need someone to do the business side. You get involved. So he got involved, and we decided what we were going to do. And this was about 9 months in, is get rid of those channels. And my vision was that Never a Foul would become a TV channel on YouTube, right? So where it would be live for a lot of the day, sometimes talking City, sometimes talking Arsenal, sometimes talking boxing, sometimes talking female talk show. And by this point, we'd got other people on board, like a boxing show, a girl called Holly from the Ends that would get like people on and talk life stories and whatever. And then I had this next idea about creating because you got to remember, this is early 2021. Before, so this is
2021, okay.
Yeah, where not everyone was podcasting yet. And I said, what we should do is we should create a brand called something like Pod in a Box, where you can get just the basic things you need to be able to podcast. But too many hours in the day. I've got a day job and whatever else. And that idea, it was a great idea, but it was way too far ahead. But so we went into the next season trying to go with that approach. And that's where probably the biggest lesson in YouTube we learned. And what we've done is, so if I take Holly, for example, she'd come on, she's got a bit of an Insta following, and she would bring a load of her friends that would subscribe to Never a Foul. And they'd watch her show. But then the rest of the shows that were about football,
they're not watching.
They wouldn't watch. Right. And that's where we start learning about the algorithms. And about the subscribers are great, but if they ain't watching your content, they're negative. That's a negative score. You need your subscribers, as many as possible. So that's where I think, rewind.
It's cool, fam. Yeah, rewind.
We'd got to a point where we had 1,000 subscribers. And this is where our biggest thank you goes out to Lee Gunner. Right. So,
talk about.
So when Chris came on board, again, Chris is an Arsenal fan, and he said, I know a guy that does football YouTube as part of AFTV, blah, blah, blah. And it was Lee Gunner. Now, I'm not going to go into detail of how he knows Lee, and also I know Lee, but we've got a connection to Lee through family and whatever. And he agreed to come on, which he didn't have to do at this point. Bro, I'm saying we probably had 300 subs.
And Gunner's like that. Shout out to Gunner, man.
Oh, bro, he is the real one with that. Like, you can see even now with like his brethrens he still has on the channel. Yeah,
absolutely.
They ain't striving to be nothing. They're just his brethrens, and he's cool with that. So he came on, and obviously when he came on, he did the Lee thing where he brought his whole rat army, and he's saying like, remember when he used to call them all rat army?
Yeah, man, the rat army. I remember the rat army.
He's like, every 10 minutes going, listen, you little rats. Like, if you haven't subscribed to Never a Foul yet, go and subscribe now. And he got us over 1,000 predominantly it was him.
massively
We were doing the
benefited
content. We were being regular with the content, which got the watch time hours. But Lee was really helping us get out there, and that got us, like, we were monetized within probably about 9 months. Right.
Jeez.
Now, to some people, you'll think that's a long time, yeah? For example, Cass has started his channel 2 weeks ago. He'll be monetized any day, yeah? But you got to remember, he's redirecting, and this is what a lot of people now do, is you're redirecting off of another channel that already has thousands and thousands. So, and that's fine for Cass to do that, because Cass has put the grind in on Never a Foul, yeah?
He's grafted.
If you are just starting a channel and trying to get 4,000 watch time hours and trying to get 1,000 subs from scratch with no help from redirects, it's, for me, that is the hardest stage of YouTube.
Talk about
it is like it's been in it's been in the trenches, and some people, fair play to them, but some people have never had to learn that grind. That like, and sometimes where, like, people that know Never a Foul will probably know it from the last 2 years, and sometimes people would discredit the second year, that was a shambles, but the first year, yeah, was the hardest fucking grind. Enjoyable, but the hardest grind. And when people ever discredit that first year, I'm like, you don't know how many nights I was up till 2 a.m. working on shit. Or, for example, like doing 5 other people's channels just to try and get people over to mine. Like that grind is, the hardest job I've ever had was flipping burgers in McDonald's. No lie, it was, bro, because they worked me like a fucking donkey in there. And it's like that sometimes, and I think that's good, because it gets you ready for the future.
It gets you prepped and prepared, like you mentioned there, grinding from 0 subs to try and get, because it's changed now to 500 subs and 4,000 watch hours. It's now 500 subs, it's now 500 subs, 4,000 watch hours. But at the time you're on the come up, time I'm on the come up, it's 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, and that seems so far away. It really does.
When you look at your stats now, let me just, bro, it's mad, because getting to, like, we got to the subs first, but we're like, oh, we're off on the watch time hours, and the watch time hours actually was the harder one, because you can get anyone to subscribe, getting people to watch more than, and I don't mean watch and like, I mean watch and stay watching to generate 4,000. But like, as an example, if I look now, how do I get this?
That's all well and good. So
I look now at watch time hours. How do I get there?
Everyone locked in, continue to run up the likes and subscribe to Never a Foul. Links in the title. Link is in the title. Carry on, Dan.
If we're talking 4,000 in a year, I would imagine, Cass, if you're in the comments, you can probably say what it is now, but it's probably something like 20,000 a month we're getting, maybe more than that. I don't know, because
talk them big numbers, man. Talk them big numbers. Let's go.
Hold on, let me try and
talk them big numbers. It's Daps, man. We getting his backstory, people. We getting his backstory.
So views in the last 28 days, 444,000 views.
He's saying you get about 90k to 100k a month. Let's go.
Oh, damn. See, I was saying 16,000. I'm way off. 85,000 watch time hours a month, bro. And this is a thing. If you can only imagine the Lee Gunners, the big sixes, what their numbers are looking at, and this is where anyone that is put off from YouTube, like, because it's very easy to. We come up in a world now where everything is about watching shorts that are 45 seconds long and get crazy numbers, or you're watching music videos that are 3 minutes long and get crazy numbers, and you're thinking, you're looking at a YouTube channel that's, say, got 5,000 views and going, 5,000 views, is that it? But just to once, and I'm not saying that it's an easy grind, it is not as an easy grind, but just to give a bit of context to it, that YouTube likes to put adverts in videos, YouTube pushes people who they can put adverts in videos on, right? And if you have a music video that's 3 minutes long, and most people will probably only watch a minute of it max, right? How many views do you need to make it worth them putting adverts in it, right?
True.
Compared to someone that only has 5,000 views, but of that 5,000 views, people are watching on average 16 minutes of it. Yeah. So people never be put off by the low numbers on football YouTube, yeah, because it's not comparable to
talk about
it. To shorts. It's not comparable to music videos. Like, it really isn't, because it's about the interactions. It's about a lot of other things, and you know, that is where. Oh, sorry, I've got reverse. So on Never a Foul,
talk about it.
We had a show called Chew the Fat. And the whole idea of Chew the Fat was to have content creators on from the football world, but get to know them more away from football. And the first person we had on was the one and only Flawless, right?
Yep, I remember.
And there was a few reasons. Firstly, your work ethic from day, yeah? And that's where I say inspirational. Like, your work ethic from day, bro, is like elite. And me and Soups clocked it from day. Secondly, you could just tell we'd get on. And thirdly, the fact that you can skip between talking about football to talking about music to talking about fucking, I don't know, a bitch twerking in a nightclub. Sorry. Yep, let's put it however we want to put it. But and it was like, yeah, so you, and also we learned from you, bro. Like,
appreciate
that. You were there before us, and the work rate from you from the start. That's why I liked being part of Battle of the North because it was like, yeah, this is good, because I often felt you didn't get the flowers you deserved.
Appreciate that.
And it's not just your work rate, by the way. Like, you're called Sarcasm City for a reason. Yeah. And there's still people that don't get that, you know. There's still a lot of people.
People do miss
it. The you and Hassam beef, yeah. You got away with so much fuckery, yeah, because people don't understand sarcasm. So when you're going, I don't know what you mean. I didn't mean anything right. I'm thinking, this fucking guy, man. Like,
your face at them times used to crack me up, yo. Because I'm like, Daps clocked it. Yeah, Daps clocks it.
But this is the thing I saw at the start. Someone comment on.
Okay, thank you.
What's that? What patty?
Go on. Nah, she's saying Nana's going to get patties. That's what that is. Go on, carry on. As you were.
Yeah, but I saw someone comment earlier on, like, a lot of people don't get my banter as well, because it's British, innit?
Yeah, it is. Like, that's why we always, like you mentioned there, from the jump, we got on straight away.
Yeah.
Straight away from the jump, and mentioned it as well. You're a Graham head, so am I. So also through that as well, because even the names you was mentioning.
Who was it up there we used to fuck with from Manchester? Virus Syndicate. Virus Syndicate was one.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, bro, that was, like I said, them grind days, I was like 17, 18. I remember we released a white label, and I had to drive up to a shop that I reckon it was Withenshaw Way, you know. I think it might have been Withenshaw Way now in hindsight when I think about it. But yeah, anyway, so that was that year. And then the second year, like, considering the number of subs we had, considering the number of shows we had, the views we were getting was really, like, they dropped drastically.
And so they dropped from the first year to the second year.
Yeah, when we changed the business model and brought all the channels onto one channel.
Okay,
it dropped, and ultimately, like, sat there, looked at it, and thought, hold on, it makes sense, because people that like the Tottenham show will watch the Tottenham show, but people won't then stay and watch the Arsenal show afterwards. And it was a very quick learning point. But the problem is, in the world of YouTube, like, the minute you start, I call it scoring negatively. So the minute that like your ratio of watchers against subscribers starts dropping, we've learned you have to take action straight away. Don't keep going, because if you keep going, like, and people keep not watching you, the numbers drop and whatever. And so that happened. And then me and Soups had we lost a couple of people. To be frank with you, we both got in bad. Like, I broke up with my my daughter's mother, my wife at the time. It'd been coming for a while, but you know what? When something's coming, but you think it's not coming, then all of a sudden you make a decision. There's that. My dad's passed away. A lot of things, so many things happened. Life was life in ultimately. And we both just spiraled. And me at the time is what I would say was the Cass of never a foul at the time. I dropped the ball because the numbers weren't great, so I wasn't enthusiastic. And yeah, it just drifted away a bit and whatever. And
what year was this? Was this 2021 or was this 2022?
This was back end of 2021. Going into 2022,
yeah.
And early 2022. And yeah, it was like we do shows every now and again. We come up with good, like good ideas for shows and whatever. But yeah, just like no consistency whatsoever. Probably a year and a half of me working my ass off. I had other shit going on, and like I'll be honest, the alcohol, like I'll be very open with it. I was drinking 7 days a week. I was trying to hold down a day job. I was going through a divorce. I was losing people, and it was just like, bro, I was in a bad place. And people that have seen me on YouTube over the last 2-3 years, you've seen me snap at people way too easily. You've seen me be rattled way too easily. All of that, and that is because. And when people say, "Oh, Daps is rattled," yeah, but it wasn't over football.
It wasn't about what was said. It's the stuff outside that's going on in your personal life.
In hindsight, I shouldn't have been streaming, bro. And that's why recently I took a period out, because I realized, and we'll get to it later, but I realized I'm going to keep looking like a prick, by streaming and being the person I don't want to be and being angry and whatever. And people think it's because of football, when really it's because I'm not in a good place. Like I'm really not in a good place. And it's very easy, like mental health and all of that. Like even the guy that passed away today from One Direction and whatever, like that, I think that's probably from, but it's very easy as a man that we can make it look like we're all good and whatever. And we just battle with demons within ourselves. Like, and that's all I was battling inside every day. And streaming, like
soldiering on.
It was my getaway, bro. Like that. That's what it was. Like I remember me and Cal, who I've got so much love for, had a big disagreement on Coppish, like that a lot of people saw, and it didn't go well. My dad had passed away the day before, and Steve had told me, "Daps, you should not be streaming."
Don't do it.
But I was like, "Nah, it's my release and whatever." And so anyway. So we had a period where the channel, we neglected the channel. We'd come up with good ideas and we'd get little panels together, and they'd be quite good shows. Like we'd still, every time, whenever we did anything, we'd have good graphics and the artwork would be cold and we'd be switching cameras, all of that. But there was no consistency because ultimately too much other shit going on. But on Trafford Tunnel, this one time, I had this young man on, who came on and had a big rant about Harry Maguire coming back and backing his boy. And, well, speaking completely different, actually not completely different, but quite different to how he does now, because he was a bit younger. And straight away, I was like, yo, I like this guy. I went out to my man cave because it wasn't on Never a Foul, it was on Trafford Tunnel. Me and him kicked it a bit off air afterwards and whatever. And then he came back on Trafford Tunnel a bit. But then he had his own shit going on. So he was kind of, and that was Cass, right? And from the first time I saw him, fast forward to about April, May time, the end of 2021. Was it 2021? I think end of 20.
Go on.
No, you moved here. Right, so 20, yeah. So it was probably about a year the channel was off and on. Obviously, during that period, me and Steve bucked up. By the way, that was very relevant and became very good friends.
Well, we will get to that. We want to get to that still, definitely, 100%.
And obviously, through that and through the connections with Steve, he got me involved with Big Six a bit and introduced me to people and whatever. And then, Like I'd go on a lot. I was at that point, I'd say I was in the trenches because I decided, right, Never a Foul is on its ass. But yeah, this was from about, I reckon, March 2021. For about a year, Never a Foul was a bit on its ass, but I'd said, right, I'm grafting. If I can graft and build up my following, I can then bring it over to Never a Foul.
So then you was thinking from an individual standpoint. You was my individual brand. I can then get the man. I can get people over and the viewership over to Never a Foul.
It was all very much with the end goal. Yeah, and that was my baby, Never a Foul. But I thought, do you know what? Yeah, I've got access to quite a few people. I'm going to now graft and hold tight. Igal was another one, got me on very early doors on his channel. And anyone that shouted me, I'd go on. It's like I said, I'd be doing 4, 5, 6 shows a night, just back to back to back, repping City, talking City, I'll be honest, getting smashed while I was doing it. But it was getting me known. And then kind of that's where I reached out to Cass and said, when you're ready. And Mo, I reached out to Cass and Mo and said, you two, I need people that are going to put in as much energy into this channel as me.
All right.
It was Cass first. So Cass said, cool. Towards the end of the season.
Before you carry on, hold that thought, because this is a great part of the story. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take a pause for the cause, people. Run up the likes on the video, subscribe to Never a Foul. Link is in the title. We're here discussing Daps' story, people, his backstory. It's nothing to do with Manchester City currently, or Arsenal currently, or Chelsea, or Manchester United. There needs to be no conversation in the chat, people, about current going on, and this is about Daps' story and giving him his flowers. That's what this is all about, people. We'll run up the likes. We're already at 76. Let's get that up to 90. Hit the subscribe button 100, on the channel as well. 100, yeah, you're right. Let's get up to facts. 100 subscribers. But as you were saying before we get into reaching out to Cass and Mo, and because you know they graft as hard as you, I've seen how you've already created the channel, pivoted once in regards to having other channels out there but under the umbrella, realizing that's not working. Then you're going through stuff personally and realize the channel's bad, so you're then going to grow your individual brand. How did the link up come with Big Steve though? How did that come about?
So I've been like, people have obviously, I was aware of Big Steve, obviously at City games. You're aware of him. If you're a City fan, you're aware of him. And like, I think the first person that mentioned he was doing YouTube to me was Ty. And Ty was like, you should fuck with Steve. You and him would get on. And I was like, yeah, like, we'll see. Because I'm not really someone to just go out. Like, I kind of was like, yeah, but I can work people's energy out. And I know... Yeah. Me and Steve will bump heads. Me and Steve will, when the time is right and whatever, yeah. And then someone else got involved in the channel we had called Feed the Goat, and I think they'd reached out to Steve a few times, and they said to me,
"Wait, who had reached out to Big Steve a few times?
Just some. I don't want to use their name, but someone had reached
out. Other channel. Out to him.
Yeah. Another City fan, and then I think then he said, "Why don't you reach out to him?" So because I think maybe because that person didn't have a big enough following, Steve hadn't seen it or something. I don't know. Yeah. So I reached out to him, and me and Steve went back and forth a bit, and I said, like, I wouldn't mind interviewing you at a game and whatever. Yeah. So he said, yeah, whenever. And then we were at a game. And like he said, yeah, meet me south where he sat. I said South Low. He said, so am I. Yeah. So we met before the game, did a quick interview and whatever. And then like,
and was that interview for Never a Foul? So you did what? Just a quick pre-record, held the camera,
it was actually for. By this point, we'd realised that everything on one channel wasn't working. So it wasn't for Never a Foul. It was for Feed the Goat, because we'd gone back to doing. We didn't have all of the channels, but like the Blue Wave we got rid of because someone that was involved in it like was in drama we did not want to be associated with, and some others had just dropped off. They didn't have the energy to be involved. But Feed the Goat was something that the City boys were still passionate about, and I could pitch in here and there and whatever. And because it was City, I wanted it to carry on. So so for that. So we did that. And then I think after the interview ended, I go, you going Madrid away? And he was like, he goes, yeah, are you? And I go, I ain't got tickets. And he goes, I'll get you one, right?
Oh, jeez, for real, Steve did that. Shout out to Big Steve.
This is, so I'm like, all right, cool. And you know, a lot of people say shit, yeah. And then, but you don't really, then like about a week later, I messaged him just saying like, if you really can get hold of a ticket, if you could get another one. And he said, oh, I got the ticket a week ago. I just forgot to tell you. Like,
Big Steve, real one for that.
Bro. And then I was like, oh shit, how much do I owe you? And then he goes, yeah, this. Then he goes, if you want to box off the flights, I'll box off the accommodation. So I go, sound. And then like within probably an hour, we both boxed off. And then that was it. And when I tell you now, every away trip, that's how it happens now. Like the minute it gets announced, I box off the flights, he boxes off the accommodation. It's just a mutual agreement of that is how we do it. And yeah, from that point, like we flew out to Atletico together. And from that point, we just like became.
Do you remember the first game you flew? So you said it was Real Madrid away.
It
was Atletico away.
Bro, it was the game where UEFA had somehow fucked up and put so Chelsea played Madrid in Madrid on the Tuesday, then we played Atletico in Madrid on the Wednesday. So the square was full of predominantly Chelsea and City, and it kicked off a bit with them lot.
What was the score of the game? Was it 0-0? I remember you went through.
We drew. I think it was 0-0. It was the one where Savic was dragging Grealish by his hair, and it was heated.
Yeah, I'm just Googling it here. This was 13th of April, 2022.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and then from then, it was like we just got on because do you know what it is? When you go away with people, some people like to travel one way, some people like to travel another way, some people like to share rooms, some people like to have their own rooms, and all of that. And it was just with some people are long with paying for shit, some people aren't. And it's just one of them ones where with us, it was very simple. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it worked.
There's no like, it worked. And then the other thing is, I'll be honest with you, like, this is where I give him credit. And I, like, this guy, that was my worst period of life. Yeah, by far. Like, my dad was on his deathbed in Thailand, my real dad. I was going through a divorce. My daughter was about to move out with my mum, with her mum, who I'd lived with from birth. And I wasn't in a good place. And do you know what? Like, Steve, with little things like I'd wake up on Father's Day, and look at my phone, and the first message I'd have is from Steve saying, "You're the best dad I've ever met, mate. Like, hold your head up." Just things like that, where there's people that I've known forever that wouldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? And just things where like he's seen me and he's never ever judged me because like we've all been there. Do you know what I mean? And like we've all
been when we're down, and because of personal things and things going on in life. Absolutely.
And like the way he was during that period with me, like he was a rock to me. And I'll be real, while I'm away with him, he's been a rock to a lot of people in the City fan base because like there's a lot of in football. There's a lot of people that drink
because it's an escape for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's an escape, and it's their thing that they enjoy, whether it's talking about it or going to games or watching games and things of that nature. It's an escapism. I've noticed that even doing these specials, a lot of people mention it like that.
It is, and the thing is that this is where people don't see like the YouTube stuff, where like even for Steve, for example, Steve is Teflon in it. Like Steve can take banter, can take insults and all of that, and just walk through it, banters it all off. But you got to remember, while Steve is there, having to be like, say, for example, he's being a rock to me, right? He's being a rock to a lot of other people. Well, he's also got his own life going on, and Steve has a lot of shit going on. When we go to games, if I tell you, bro, he don't drink. He has, sometimes I have to take 100 pictures of him with other people, and like people in his ear, chewing his ear off. And I don't mean me, I mean other people,
other like, City fans.
And then he'll have to go on a stream where people are going, Steve, you're rattled, people watching this sometimes, lay off people, because you don't know what they're going through. And like, if someone does snap a little bit, just know that, like, I remember a little bit of leeway. When we lost that same year to Madrid, we flew back from Madrid on the Thursday night. We were due to land about 5-ish at Stansted. We ended up delayed and whatever, fucking long. I got home and like to my house, and my daughter was already in bed, so I didn't get to see her. Had to go straight out to my man cave, jump on Coppish, and we'd just been knocked out by Real Madrid. There's
was that the two late goals?
The
two late goals in the Bernabeu. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay,
bro, and then imagine Steve. That's me. I'm Bedford. He's had to travel a further 4 or 5 hours up to Manchester because of traffic and whatever. And then so that period, and this is a thing. Sometimes life, and especially when you're going to games and you're away, you're constantly at games, then you're having to come back and people were going, oh, where's Daps? Oh, he's dodging us. Like the other day, we arrived in Bratislava on the Sunday night. There was a Big Six, and when I got home from the pub on I think the Sunday night, I went and looked, and there's people going, oh, convenient, Steve isn't here when City draw 1-1 with Newcastle. And I'm thinking, everyone knows he goes to games, He's in fucking Bratislava, bro. Like, just let the guy live his life. But so that link up was a game changer for me and Never a Foul.
It seems that way.
For me and Never a Foul, because, well, for me personally, bro, away from all of this, it 100% was, because he helped me through some... Bro, like, I'll be completely honest with you. I've been breaking down, like, in a fucking dark place, and he's like, ring me right fucking now. Yeah, ring me now. And, like, so he's a real one. But then back to Never a Foul, obviously through that and through the link-ups, started being able to get some people to come on here and there. Now, I'm one that I never like to shout people often, because like, if you do if I do someone a favor, 100%, at some point I want a favor back. But I tried to pick and choose when we get people on for important ones. But so that was going on. And then at the end of that summer, I think Cass and I have been speaking, and we pretty much agreed, from the minute the season ends.
So let's not skip over that. So you now talked about the link up with Big Steve, and we're going to get to linking up with Cass and Judge Mo as well, because it's super interesting. Let me just get to a couple things. Big up to Love United, Hate the Ops. Always salute you, because I always see you in the back again.
He's everywhere, bro.
Always see you supporting. Love the name as well. Says big up Flawless and Daps. Missed half this, but we'll watch back. Mr. Flawless, the people also want a Cass and Big Steve special episode. Love the series. First and foremost, Love United, Hate Ops.
Big Steve would be a good one. And the Cass needs it.
Love for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. In regards to Big Steve doing one, I just don't know Big Steve like that. I've met him one time, which was
I'll sort it out, bro.
The Big Six. So that's what it is. And if I do one with Big Steve, it would definitely be the Sarcasm City special, where I do the gold one, people. So obviously I've had Rants has done one, Troops has done one, Gunner did one, Matisse did one, for example. So that's on here as well. So with Big Steve, I don't know if he's still in the chat, he was here earlier, but that is something once I bring the gold series back. Secondly, same with Cass, with the second wave edition, I just had to select because I didn't want too many. So that's all it was, people. So that's why. But shouts to Cass as well. You know what I'm saying? And 1 second, there's another thing. Big up to JJ Ash, sorry, for the super sticker. And he said, Flawless Broski, to get to this nice series and quite innovative. But in my opinion, you should also be challenging the guests. Piers Morg style, but not as rude, to make it more real rather than guests glazing themselves. For example, Northside interview was all good, but I felt you could have challenged him some of his views to make it more real. Here's the thing. These specials, so whether it's the second waves now or the original specials, is not about challenging the guests. It's not about that. You've completely, JJ Ash, I appreciate the super sticker. You've completely missed what this is about. I legit say at the start, it's about giving people their flowers. They get battled. Daps just mentioned it, ironically. Daps has just mentioned it. You don't know what people are going through, etc. They go through that every day, every single content creator. This one stream that they do is away from that.
Do you know what?
That's not, before you go, Daps, I know you're going to respond to this. It's not to do with that. It's solely to give them their flowers. So I even said to Daps before this one, said to Northside, everyone, there's nothing I'm going to challenge you on. If you want to speak about certain things, cool. If you don't want to speak about certain things, cool. The Mons one, for example, Way Mons, and salute to Mons. You won't mind me saying this for everyone that watched it. He spoke about his best friend committing suicide. I didn't press him for that. That's the way that it went. This is solely about giving people their flowers. So it's not about guest glazing themselves, about me giving them their flowers in the chat, because they receive criticism every single day. And it's like, nah, you great. Forget all that. So that's all it is. But big up to you, JJ. Appreciate the super chat as well. Super sticker. Go on, Daps. Go on.
You know what? The thing is, like, and people maybe don't realize, like, bro, death threats. Like,
Sava spoke about it. Sava got one to his house.
I get death threats. I laugh at them. Like, to be frank with you, because, like, I've been there. Like, I talked about my 10 years out. That's real life. That 10 years out, yeah. Gangs of Somalians, that's real life, yeah, right. So someone sending something on the internet, I find hilarious, fucking hilarious, because like everyone knows, if someone's really looking to body me, they're not going to message me on Instagram.
Facts.
Bro, I've had people telling me, oh, I know what car you drive. And I'm like, well, yeah, because it's on my fucking Instagram. Yeah, I live near you. And I'm like, cool, well, I'm DJing Friday and Saturday night. Come and say hello to me. They don't come and say hello, of course. The funniest one was even at Carnival this year, yeah. So I ended up going, bro, on the Monday.
Did you go on the Monday? Oh, big up, man.
I wasn't good, but Soups wanted to go, and I woke up in the morning, was like, I'm not going. He was playing music. I was like, fuck it, come. Bro, I ended up staying down there for 24 hours, getting a hotel room. I wish I hadn't gone. But anyway, the minute we landed, you were there. Arsenal shirts everywhere, right?
Yeah. Those hella Arsenal shirts. The year they put out the Jamaican kit, which was 2023.
And I saw a lot of that, and I saw a lot of the Palestine one as well. But the amount of Arsenal fans I had coming up to me going, I recognise you. You're that City fan that fucking hates us, innit? I was just like, bro, I was like, are you going to win the league? And they were like, they just start laughing. I was like, listen, you can't tell me that I'm behind the screen doing it. Like, I'm about, but listen, like, it's all banter. Like, it's and like, it is all banter. This is football. It's not that deep, yeah?
It's not life or death.
Yeah, and you got to realise, the more Arsenal fans give it to me, the more I will respond at you, man. Yeah, because like, if you want to do that, we can do that. But yeah, so
and that's it. So yeah, before you go to that, so I know JJ, you were being rude. So yeah, that's what this is about. Like Daps has just mentioned it. Every single, you know what's crazy? Every single one of these second waves have done. The first specials that I did, like I said, with Matisse and Grizz and Troops, etc., Rants, I've all said the same thing about the criticism they received and the trolls and people going too far. Saba mentioned it, how someone sent a letter to his house with death threats. That's not what this is about. This is not what that's why I'm not here challenging people, because it's not about that. It's about, one, getting their story, two, letting them know how great they are as well. You know, that's what it is.
Do you know the thing? So, like, there's a few things that. No, we'll get to that later. In fact, that's later down the line. Right. So ultimately,
but yeah, how did you? So what made you go? And is that actually Turkey? Big up to Turkish as well, man. I believe that is Turkish. Shouts to Turkish, man, every single time as well. Big up Turkish, Big Six. Stratosphere clears and that. But you mentioned there, so you're working. Well, you've linked up with Big Steve, and then you've spoken about using your individual brand to bring more numbers and more viewership and more notoriety to Never a Foul. And you said you selected Cass and Judge Mo as two guys who work as hard as you. Yeah, go on.
Do you know what it was? So initially it was Cass, and it had been Cass for a minute, right? Obviously Ty's still about, but Ty's got a job and Ty's in and out doing his stuff, doing Trafford Tunnel, whatever else. But so Cass was one that I'd had conversations about fully getting involved, right? Mo was somebody that I'd seen on the terrace, and I'd really, actually, I've got to give a shout out to Football Terrace as well, because you know what, Terry got me on from early doors as well. And listen, I will call Terry out for all the funny shit that I see him do, like, bro, all of the fucking City 115 every international break, all of that stuff he does, yeah. But I will still show the guy love. Like, he did get me involved early doors, and it's just like, he's one of them people where I know I can call him out and stuff, because that's the game. Like, the game is like a lot of the shit we've seen recently between people calling each other out. I just compare it to Wiley calling man out and all that clashing. Yeah, people want to see that. Yeah, and so people are doing that, and I just think, look, it's not. People are based all around the world. This is not real life. Yeah, because if it's real life, you probably wouldn't know about it. It would just happen elsewhere, and you wouldn't even hear about it. So anyway, Mo was one that I'd seen on Football Terrace, and I liked the way he spoke. I liked his setup. I felt that the way his setup was and everything was professional, and that was the kind of angle, despite us being very unprofessional, our setup always looked professional, and I like that. So anyway, me and Cass agreed that from the minute that season ended, 2022, we were no longer going to be doing like one show sporadically here and there. We were going to do a show every day because we needed to be consistent. By this point, although we had a couple of thousand subs, it was inactive. So from the minute the season ended, every day at least once, me and Cass would go live and we would talk about transfer news. And at first we were going from 10 people watching, because although we had a couple of thousand subs, we paid so little attention to the channel. It was on its arse. So first it was, but then obviously because my Insta had popped off a bit more through the help of Steve and whatever else, I could do links on Insta, and that would pull the City lot over, and Cass had a United fan, so we started pulling people over, and that was enjoyable, because that's where we went from maybe 10 to then the next show would have 30, next show 50, then we'd hit 100 people watching live. But it was enough for us to interact with the comments, and that was enjoyable. And at that point, I felt people were getting to know us, and it wasn't disrespectful. It was a community, and I like that.
I like that.
Banter, but no one pushed it too far. And I'd said to Mo several months before, I like you. I like what you're doing and everything. I want to get you involved in Never a Foul. But right now, I'm not proud of my product because it's on its arse. When I get my product back where I want it to be, I'm going to let you know. So I think probably about a month into me and Cass starting to get the algorithms cooking again, and we started getting into the 100s, 120 watching quite regularly.
Let's go talk of them numbers, man. Yo, and that's credit again to you, because that's like the third or fourth time in your story, and it's not even halfway where you've rebuilt, pivoted, and been very self-aware of what's going on. All right, let's try this idea. Okay, this is not working. Let's do this. Let me link up with Big Steve. Well, the channel's not working, so let me build my individual brand. I see Cass, I see Judge Mo. They're two quality content creators I think I can work with. Right work ethic matches mine. Okay, let me bring them on board. That's credit to you. Because a lot of people just gave up at that point. Go on.
Nah, bro, do you know what it is? There's one thing I've learned in life from forever, and like, I'll tell you now, I don't believe I have any. I didn't qualify with no dope things from school. I didn't go uni, didn't go college. Don't have a trade, but I've always find a way, and I think it's a man thing. I always say it's a Leo thing as well, by the way, about like just by any means. Like I said, bro, my hardest ever job was flipping burgers. If I lost my job tomorrow and YouTube went out the window, I'd go to McDonald's and flip burgers, or I'd do something.
You do something.
And what I've found is, like, after that period that I'm not really going to go too deep into because I don't feel there's any need to, but after that period where I decided I wanted to build a career, I started, and this is probably about 2012, something like that. And I started working on the phone somewhere, right? And on basic money, but I put the same work ethic in that job that I did when I was making money in other ways previously. And for me, like, of course, having skills and all of that's great, but work ethic is one thing that, like, can't be beaten. If you work hard and if you're consistent at anything, it will work. And that was the thing, like, with YouTube. And I've seen that from jobs to side hustles to music game to anything. If you work hard and you're consistent, it will go somewhere. And so anyway, so me and Cass have started going, it started building up. And then I'd shouted Mo, and Mo had said, I've got a few bits to sort out. Mo got involved. He came over. Then there was a 3-man band. And Ty, by the way, Ty's still involved, but Ty had, whereas
he had other things in life, but it was
life,
you, Cass, Mo, 3-headed monster at that point, attacking. And well, when I say attacking the space and getting the channel back up and not even getting the channel back up and running, but growing the channel.
Consistent with it, bro, and like learning, right? One show. Shall we do 2 shows? Is 3 shows too many? Just learning the algorithms, little things like, for example, if you fast forward to the end of 2022, when the World Cup came on, Mo came over, stayed with me for about a month or so, and we were going to do watch-alongs. But me and Cass, we've never been a watch-along channel, right? And we know that watch-alongs brings views, but it doesn't bring watch time hours, because a lot of people, although it does, if you're a big channel, it brings watch time hours. If you're a small channel, it brings clicks, right? It doesn't bring watch time hours. And also it can bring down your average watch time hour, which then is a negative to YouTube, and it doesn't get pushed out. So me and Cass were very worried about the World Cup, but we had our set up in the new studio, which was next door in the lounge. So Mo came over and we did a couple of watch-alongs, and we noticed that, yes, they were getting clicks, but you create a thumbnail that looks like it's the real thing. People click on it, then they fuck off, right? And me and Cass very quickly noticed it and said, do you know what? And this is where I think me and Cass are brilliant at. We like to dip our toe in markets now. If we don't see the reaction we want, we pull out. We go, you know what?
That makes sense. Yeah, that's sensible.
And it's not good for our model. So we backed out of that. And that's probably how we started to build Never a Foul. Work ethic and noticing the way the algorithms work. And of course, great panels. That's where Cass comes in, because Cass builds the panels. He puts the right people together, pulls people and whatever. And to be honest with you, by this point, I'll be honest, my work ethic with this, because I'm trying to focus on life stuff and get myself back in a good place. Cass and Mo were the driving force. Now, Cass, very early doors, within a month, I think probably about 3 weeks of Cass coming on board, I had to have a conversation with the other guys and say, look, if Cass is not part of Never a Foul, I go, right? And I quit.
Because like that. I respect that.
Because I said the only way for, like I said, look, we've gone from earning nothing to earning, say, £100, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 200, 100, 200. I said, would you rather, and at this point, by the way, this is where we're hitting like 100, 200 people watching. I said, would you rather earn 100% of nothing, or say 25% of 200?
Yeah.
Because quite simply, without someone whose work ethic matches my work ethic, vision matches my vision, and someone I can bounce off of, there's no Never a Foul. So if you won't let Cass get, and it was, we all, bro, it was everyone, although it's me that took the conversation to him, everyone was no brainer. So that's where Cass came on board as a joint owner, right? And that's
let's not bypass that. That's fire. Like, that is loyalty down to a T, and that sums you up in a nutshell. That you're saying Cass is working hard, he's helping the channel grow. We need to give him some form of percentage of this, because if we don't, I go. So for you to do that, that's credit to you. 100%.
Do you know what? There's loyalty, and I'll speak on that later. At this point, although yes, I had love for Cass, I didn't have this was me and Cass were still quite new to one another and whatever. This was me ultimately seeing that Cass could get Never a Foul further than anyone else has, and do you know what? Believing in him, right? And him probably believing in the product. Both of us shared a vision, right? So I won't say it was loyalty at that point. Now, I'm telling you now, like, because Cass lives with me. Cass is around. My loyalty for anyone changes when I see them around my daughter. And when I saw Cass around my daughter, the way he is around my daughter, I'll die for him, because he would die for my daughter. It's that simple, right? And that is where now my loyalties with Cass are different. Back then, it was more of a business thing.
But that's still smart. It's business loyalty, though. It's still credit to you as a person, because you could have easily been like, I don't have to fight for Cass. You can just keep working. The channel keeps growing, and we all eat. But you was like, no, we need to recognize that. That's credit to you.
That's something that with Never Foul, there's always been, and it's politics. Like, for example, Ty is my day one's younger brother, and I've known Ty since he was this high, right? And like, Ty can irritate the hell out of me about certain things, but I've still got like a certain level of loyalty to him, because like he's my people. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them ones. And same with Soups, and there's people that are involved. And you know what? Same with Cass. Cass with me. I've been lazy at times, and Cass stays loyal to me. When you're doing something together, you all have to understand the way each other are, and just, you know what? Once you get in bed with someone, it is the way it is. Anyway, so Mo was on board, and obviously the Mo thing didn't go the same way, right?
Yeah.
And we've never spoken it. Mo did a video on it. I don't know if he spoke on it when he was on the other day.
No, when he was on the other day, he was like, he didn't go all into it. And he said, he said, I've done a video on it. People who know, they can go watch the video. So no, Mo didn't speak on it.
I won't speak on it too tough neither, because at the time we did not respond, because for me, like, let me be very clear. Did we make some mistakes in that interaction? Abso-fucking-lutely. Every single one of us has come out and admitted the mistakes we made, yeah? Has anyone heard our side of it? No, right? Because sometimes, do you know what? The consensus have made their decision, and ultimately, a lot of these people that are making their decision, I don't care about them knowing every side. Now, one thing I will say to you, in anything, there's this side, there's this side. The truth is usually in the middle, right? Now, one thing I will say to you is I was in a very dark place at that point. I didn't handle some communications very well, but you have to remember, it was difficult, because when I tell you, Mo came over here for the World Cup. He lived in my yard for a month or so, right? He was around my daughter. Christmas Day, came to my mum's yard because I didn't want to leave him in the house by himself, right? I had love for him. Like I said to you, if someone is around my daughter and treat them a certain way, I have love for them. But I definitely, so Mo wanted a percentage of the ownership or whatever. It was difficult conversations, because there's only certain amount of bread that can be broken. And like I said, Ty's my boy, Suits, all of that. So it's difficult. And then you've got the fact that I was drinking a lot. I was
you said you was in a dark place, so your communication, and that's very self-aware of you again to say that I didn't handle it well, and I'm in a dark place, and my communication could have been better.
And do you know what? Cass maybe those things Cass didn't handle great, but I can tell you now, that's because while I'm in a dark place, we're hearing things off of other people, and Cass came out firing because Cass was backing me, because I was taking things. I'm an emotional person, and I'm taking things in a certain way. Well, like, and I just feel the whole thing could have been handled better. There was no need to rush and release a video, especially about someone that Mo came back and lived at my house for another couple of weeks later, at another point before we fell out. So all these things for me, and by the way, the key with me is that I haven't got the message no more, but when it all happened, I sent Mo a message, and it wasn't about, like, firstly, I did send him some dough and he sent it back, that's fine. But I sent him a message initially, and it was nothing about YouTube, right? It was about, wow, like,
was this before the video or after the video?
No, after he released the video.
After he released the video, you sent him a message after talking about about the video.
It wasn't about YouTube. It's more about, bro, like, shit, we've been under you've been under the same roof, like, and you've taken it to this quickly, like, when, like, for example, my brother don't know nothing about none of this world, and my brother has said, oh, whatever happened to Mo? And I've said, like, what happened? He made a video on us, and my brother was like, sorry, someone that came to our mum's house on Christmas Day made a video. And you know what? An element of it is that I'm pissed off with myself, that I maybe in my eyes judge someone differently and whatever. But for me, I understand Mo was frustrated because he'd helped to create Never Foul.
Because it was you, Cass, and him who were the three-headed monster heading that up, and the growth was crazy.
I admit, he sent me a message, I ignored it. Like, but it was difficult conversations. I can tell you now that during the period when Mo was involved, Mo was getting paid more than me because he was doing more shows than me. And that's just how it worked. But he wanted a percentage of the ownership of the channel as well. And like, it's difficult when the ownership's already split up. But we handled things incorrectly. It also, like, at that point, remember, we lost several thousand subs because of that. But more importantly, away from all of that shit, because like I said, bro, if all of this shit goes,
man,
Bro,
That's the sad part, man. You remember tight as well.
I've got pictures, videos in my phone of Mo with my daughter, Mo and Cass out playing in the snow in my back garden, all of that, yeah. And when that happened, it was a bit like, yo, like, and Cass wanted to fire back. Cass wanted to respond and whatever, but Cass is, well, I was like, nah, because do you know what? Like, it's what it is, isn't it? Like, and do you know what? I still say to this day, we would like we've told him multiple times, we'd love to chat to you. And I've said to him, like, sent him messages saying, I'd love to chat to you and work out what the fuck happened. Like, but he's doing his thing, he's doing well and whatever, and salute to him. But yeah, that was a big part of our journey because it set us back a bit. It knocked us and whatever. And I know, do you know what the funny thing is? I know that it hurt him as well. Like, I know it does. Because
of course it does, man, because you lot were close. And not only had you built something together and it was a brotherhood, you had built something that was successful. The growth was crazy. The numbers was crazy. The viewership was crazy.
Because he was on a page. We were on the same page. Like, from the reason why I reached out to him in the first place is he was good at talking. His setup was cold. He had a vision, all of that. And you know, it was a hard thing to go through because not only was it like like I'm having to explain to my daughter that like Mo's going to be about no more and all of that.
That's sad. But
then also my baby, our baby, is having slander thrown at it. I'll be honest, I'm sat there thinking, this guy's seen how much I drink. This guy could go making videos saying Daps is an alcoholic, this, that, all of that. And then, like, as well, we start earning less money through YouTube because
of the situation.
I mean? Like, that don't help. We got bills to pay. Do you know what I mean? Like, true. So all of that. But you know what? We just kept going. Got Mons involved. Mons, obviously, whole time.
We'll get to that as well. Shout out to Mons. Big up BSB. Make sure you subscribe. Take a pause for the cause as well. Run up the likes. We have just gone over 100 likes. Subscribe to Never a Foul. Link is in the title. And this is Daps's backstory. For anyone who's just joining, we're getting Daps's full backstory as a content creator from the very, very beginning up until this present day. So the Judge Mo situation happens. He makes the video. Obviously, he leaves the channel. You do lose subscribers because of that. And I know you then when I asked this question, you pivoted. How did you do it?
Right, Never a Foul pivoted through Cass. Cass, like, I'll be honest, a lot. Like, I'll give. So when did Mo leave? Mo left, I think. Yeah, back, was it nearly a year ago? Yeah, it was a year ago. Hard work from Cass, to be honest with you, because
I know you would have pipivoted and had an idea like, all right, we're losing subs. What do we do?
I'll be honest with you, it was more like it was Cass and Cass's hard work.
It's Cass, okay.
Do you know what? The only thing that I could, because you got to remember, when we're not online, me and Cass bounce things off of each other. Cass sees the worst in me. I see the worst in Cass. We see each other when we're having bad days, and we're seeing like, and we see each other when we see each other when, or I see Cass when he gets burnt out. And you've got to remember that Mo and Cass, them two bounced up the elite content like them two. Yeah. I'd say, remember, I work, so it's in the day I'm watching them, man, right? And obviously, but Mons was very involved by this point because Mons is just man them. Right?
So Mons, before we get into how you met Mons as well, my bad, I actually forgot to get this. Let me get to these couple super chats. Big up Tony, man. This is my guy. You see him on the United Arsenal show on here on a weekly basis. He says Daps is a legend. Showed up to my channel a few times despite not being a big channel. Salute Daps. Big up Flawless. Hey Tony, you know you're my guy, man. Shout out to Tony. He is Sarcasm City TV fan favorite. Big up to Tony, man. Hilarious.
Tony Claude, absolutely hilarious.
Tony Club Gunner, man. Make sure you subscribe. Big up to Big Steve. Hey Steve, man. Appreciate the super chat as well. Thank you very much. He says Daps is my brother. Love him more than he knows. A real person, emotional, and a top dad. Talks too much and wears clothes, but it's all love. Reason why I didn't swear is because my niece will turn me off. But yeah, you lot can all see on the screen. She'll turn me off. So yeah, Big Steve, Tony, big love for the super chats. Appreciate it. So how did the link up come with Mons? So before Mons became part of like Never a Foul, the original link up, what was that?
The original link up with Mons was so Terry used to do on Football Terrace. He used to do he did, let me think, beginning of 2022. Terry did some face-to-face shows, right?
Okay.
In fact, no. Do you know what? It might have been. It was either on Kopish or Hussam. I did a show with Mons firstly, and the band was good. Then I can't. Then obviously through YouTube we started fucking with each other a bit, and then like doing a few shows with each other. Then I remember like me and Mons were, I think, the first two that did face to face on Football Terry. So I did face to face with a guy called Z, and then I think Mons did face to face with.
Is the one with Troops? With Troops. Okay, he mentioned that on his. Yeah.
And at that point, Mons kind of like hollered me. He was like, "Daps, I know you've done a face to face." And do you know what it was? It was very organic with Mons. It was just we'd be doing shows together, we'd be bouncing off of each other, pause and whatever, and just bro, he's like. He's a real one, innit? He's one of them people where I can relate to him. He's very real. He tells me when I'm in the wrong. Yeah, and it was just that. And obviously, Cass and Mons have an extremely good relationship as well. Like, do you know what? One thing actually I will say is redirect. You see this redirect game? I'm telling everyone now, I didn't create that. YouTube created the redirects, yeah. But when I'm telling you, I brought everyone in this football world into redirects.
Talk about it.
Well, because you know when you're just studying the back end of YouTube, right? Yeah. And you're like, what is this? And I often used to see redirects and just sometimes I'd randomly pick people. I didn't even know what it did. Right. Then once me and Cass decided we were going to be consistent with it, I'd spend a bit more time reading up what the back end was about. And I saw this thing and I was like, yo, redirect. So when a show finishes, we can send all our people somewhere else. And I remember I reached out to Sam, Igal, and Mons and said, because they were three channels that I would say at the time we were effing with a lot. And
you were working with all three of them and on their channels and they're on yours.
And I was like, we can pass people between each other, like audiences between each other and whatever, and doing that. I remember one Saturday, me and Mons did like I went first. When I finished, I passed him to Mons. Mons went on for a bit. Then when he finished, he passed him back to me and just doing all that redirect stuff. And I think I love that because that is how it should be. Like,
absolutely.
You see it like Hold Tight Lewis, Carefree Lewis. He's one that just randomly you'll get a redirect.
From Lewis, that's my bro. Shout out to Lewis. That's my bro. Every single time he's like that.
You don't ask.
Real one.
You never ask. He just does it. Same with like I've got to give a shout out to Rants. Rants will just randomly do it. You see all these, and that's where I really them people that do it without asking. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not one that wants to go and ask someone to redirect. Like I would.
I get that.
Because I can imagine a lot of people ask them, and like although I'll do favors for someone, like I said, it's a favor for a favor. It's not. Someone does you do one favor for someone, then you think you own them and can ask them all the time and whatever. But so Mons we got to know through that, and him and Cass had a good chemistry. Mons had started, I think, doing kind of because of his acting and everything, he was available during the day. And with Mo going, it was a case of like very quickly after Mo went, I realized that Cass was going to get burnt out because he's having to do 2 shows a day.
Again, that's smart to you. You the way that you clock that, very managerial-esque to be able to clock a problem before it's a problem. Bro,
and it was like, you know what? And that was where like we never wanted Mo to leave. We wanted Mo to stay. And by the way, it was never a case of we said we're not paying you no more, F off. None of that. It was more a case of we'd heard things through people, and so we were trying to work out the best way to move forward with the whole situation with Mo and whatever else. And he'd gone, he didn't want to speak to us or whatever. So I was like, Cass, you need someone. We reached out to Mons, came to an agreement with Mons where Mons came on board, and then boom, that gave Cass and Mons during the day.
Was it your idea to bring Mons in? Or did you run that by Cass?
I'll be real with you. Cass wanted Mons involved for a long time, like, because Cass has always had mad love for Mons or whatever. But it was more of a case of me noticing that Cass was going to get burnt out and me saying, look, bro, you need someone there during the day. So you knew Mons was was there any, without going into details, I'm presuming there was no issue with getting Mons on board because you was again mentioned one or two other people that kind of have a stakeholder, and they were like, no brainer. Kind of obviously discussed the money side of things and whatever, came to an agreement that suits everyone. And by the way, here's the thing with agreements on YouTube. So I can talk about who has ownership of Never a Foul, but ain't no one selling Never a Foul. Yeah. So ownership means fuck all. I like
that. It don't mean it because you're not selling it, but in terms of the money that comes in. So say you own 30%, then you get 30% of the money.
Yeah, but now see that's where initially, very early days, that's how we thought it would work. But then that would mean that because Never a Foul's my baby and I own 25% of it, and technically it's Ty's baby, so he owns 25% of it. Yeah, that means that we do no shows and we're earning 50% while Cass is here doing all the work. And very quickly I realized, and like very, very, very quickly, I realized it can't be about ownership. Can have a certain element of how much decisions you get to make, and you know what you can. And I'm not going to go down into the deep percentages.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to break down the finances. Got you.
Ownership means very little. Our structure is based on how many shows you do. So I get paid a lot less than Cass.
Because Cass does more shows.
Does it full time. Do you know what I mean? And Mons does it. So Mons gets more than me. And that is how, like, so that's where I can honestly tell anyone, like the period while Mo was here, because Mo was doing more shows than me, he was taking home more money than me. And you know what? I'll be real with you. Like, at times, that was hard for me because it's my baby and I'm not earning as much as someone else. But it is what it is because this is the world of business. Like that, if you don't put work in, unless you're fucking, of course, if this channel was huge and I earn, of course, but when you're in the trenches, it has to be done correctly. Otherwise, it won't work. So,
and that's the model it should be though. In regards to, it shouldn't be ownership. It's a percentage. Sorry, it should be if you're doing more work, then you take more, which is fair. That makes sense.
100%, it should be, bro. That is how it should be. Because if otherwise, I'd be guilty. I'd sit upstairs mad guilty watching Cass do all this work while I do fuck all at times.
And you get more money,
and eventually, guess what? Cass will fuck off.
He'll get pissed. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like one thing I can tell you is the amount of money I've put into Never a Foul in studios and whatever else, and that that does count for something. But it doesn't mean I can sit here for the next 5 years going, I'm earning money off of other people. It don't work like that. Like it doesn't. And ultimately, that isn't how I'd want to do things in any walk of life. Because
I get you. Because you got decorum, that's why. You know what I'm saying? You got decorum, you're a good human being. You know what I'm saying?
So Mons got involved, Cass and Mons are doing that. And then I think it was around from the Mo time, I'll be honest with you. That point, and nothing to do with Mo, this is not putting it on Mo, but from the point when we fell out with Mo, obviously I'd already been in a bad place for quite some time, but it was getting to a point where I was sick of it, and I'm starting to I had one moment where, out of nowhere, where I thought I was getting back to a good place.
Yeah.
And then went for a drive, and I'm driving home, and my car started to veer, and a voice in my head just told me, "Don't take control of the steering wheel; just let it veer." Right?
Yeah.
And at that point, it was only a split second, and I grabbed hold of the steering wheel. What the fuck? Because there's times where you feel down and you think, oh, I'm in a bad place, but you're in control. Whereas I didn't think I was in a bad place. And my mind all of a sudden just tried to tell me, don't grab that steering wheel, bro. And I grabbed the steering wheel. It was a Friday night, drove home, went straight to bed. Woke up the next day, went and told Cass, and he was like, bro, why didn't you come and see me if you're in a bad place? Because I didn't know I was in a bad place, bro. But that, to me, it was like a signal. Stop feeling sorry for yourself because you ain't going to get better by feeling sorry for yourself. And so I started, went into 2023. Yeah. 2023? No, went into 2024. This would be now with a different mindset.
The year 2024. You're talking about the season.
Went into the year 2024.
Year 2024. Okay.
Kind of thinking, I'm going to get in control of this. I'm going to get in control of a lot of other things in my life. I'm going to start focusing back on my day job. I wasn't enjoying YouTube as much, so I was starting to do a lot less of it and whatever. And then I think it was March this year. and I really wasn't happy doing YouTube. Cass knew it. And I was starting to get on top of a lot of stuff and focus more on work, but I wasn't enjoying YouTube. Now, we played United and we beat you. And I went on a show on Never a Foul, 10 o'clock at night. Oh, the other thing is late night streams. I stopped doing them because I've got work in the morning, and staying up late means I drink and then all of that. So we played you. We beat you. I went on Never a Foul. And on the stream, I ended up being the fucking rattled one when we just beat Man United. Yeah.
You just, that's crazy that you had won, but you're deemed as the rattled one. Go on, talk about it from talking about, because it's all a part of the story.
And when we finished the show, I pretty much, like, I'd already kind of said to Cass about I might stop, and I just said, I'm stopping YouTube for a bit. And he was like, well, I said, bro, I need to, because ultimately, like, how am I getting rattled and I'm looking angry? And it's like, because I need to get myself under control, and staying up late at night, doing late night streams means I'm drinking a lot and all of that. I'm not focusing on my day job. I need to get my fundamentals back. And so that's when I stopped, kind of. I think you remember earlier this year where
I remember you saying that you stopped, and it was start to hear in regards to, like, as a, just forget that me and you were cool and we boys and everything, just as a fan, like, because I'm like, I enjoy the streams you're on, I enjoy your take, despite the fact you're a City fan. And I'm still like, let me hear what Daps has to say. And again, like, go back to it, Battle of the North. You played a severely underrated,
man.
You just played a severely underrated. Like, it wouldn't have been the same without you.
Yeah,
wouldn't have been the same. Like, if you would have tried to have leave that, I would have been like, nah, you can't leave. Like, nah, like, you got to try and sort it out and part it out and figure out something. 100%, without doubt.
It was one of them ones where I had to do it, and it made perfect sense, because it allowed me to go focus on a few things, get a few things in place. Like, you got one thing I'd say to anyone, and a lot of people watching this have probably maybe not been in the situation and whatever, and not been married and whatever, but a marriage where you own a house with somebody and you spent a long time with somebody, like, there's the separation and there's the hurt from all of that. But once you're over the hurt and once all of that, there's a lot of things that you just need to get used to doing life correctly again, and like used to taking on things that previously your partner did. So, like, little things, like, even if I might be the one paying all the bills, if she's the one saying this bill needs to be paid and all of them type of things,
now you got to do all those things. It's all on you, rather than some of that things was some things she was doing, some things were shared. Now it's all the responsibilities on you to get all of those things done.
And this is a thing. There's been, like, I'll be real with you. Like, there's been, obviously, Cass lives here now and whatever, and there's been, like, right. So obviously it's my house. Cass lives here. I could quite easily, like, and everyone knows cost of living and all of that, like that. As a man, we have bills to pay and all of that, I could quite easily stop doing YouTube, go back to just doing what I do, move into a smaller house, and sail into the distance, never do YouTube again, and live a bit of an easier life, right? Because the house is quite probably bigger than what I need as. But Cass is my brother, and it's got to a point now, and Never a Foul is my baby, right?
Absolutely.
So part of my decisions are not just about me, right? And they're not just about my daughter. They're about Never a Foul, and they're about Cass, right? And the realization of when at times I've thought about, you know what, I'm just going to try YouTube. It's done well. I've done all right out of it. But you know what, for a simpler life, I'm just going to. There's been key moments where, like, when I've said to my daughter before, I might sell my house. And she said, what about Cass? Now, if that's the first thing my daughter says back to me,
that's then, so sweet.
Then in my head is, I have to think about this because, and by the way, to be clear, I'd already thought about this a lot, right? A lot, Like, it was one of the key things with me when I'm thinking about my next steps in life. Cass is one of them. But then when my daughter is saying that, I'm like, oh, then I'm mentioning it to my mum, and my mum's going, what will Cass do? I'm thinking, is it like
that?
A
real one as well. Your mum is a real one as well.
And Cass will probably be sat watching this slyly with a tear in his eye. He won't want any of you to know this, but like that is the realness of between me and Cass, where like, and it goes back to Never a Foul, right? That We share this vision, and we're on a journey together. Like, and like right now we're in a very good place where the international breaks are an absolute fuckery. Well,
international breaks. Yeah,
we're in a good place. We're building. We've got good things going on. And listen, like I would not say I'm an up and coming star or nothing, because do you know what? I'm at a point, bro, where myself in a lot of avenues, I know myself, I know where I am, and I'm happy where I am. Right?
You are. I know. I hear that. You are.
But
110%.
This guy, yeah, Cass, he will be.
Cass definitely is, but so are you, and things that we're gonna get to during before we do indeed close out. One, I see the numbers you do and the viewership you do. The reason why people are here, even on here right now, shouts to Cass for that, but also you help with that. Why are the people here? People ain't here for this. People are here for you. People are in the chat here giving you your flowers. It's when you go on other platforms. I know if I need you, like need a City fan for something.
Whenever. You don't shout me enough, to be honest, bro.
I'm just Nah, the thing is, you know what I'm saying? I'm like you in regards to I don't like pestering people and shouting people a lot, but you've said that to me. But I know if I shout you, one is going to be quality content because I know what you're bringing, 110%. And two, you're going to bring a following. That's stardom. Not a lot of people can do that. And I know you've been out and about and got recognized. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's testament. You know how many content creators that does not happen to? Where people like, come on to you, your daps from Never a Foul, or your daps from here, from there. I seen you on such and such. You already mentioned it at Carnival. Nah, man, we're not doing that. I'm telling you.
You know I hear it. But to be honest with you, bro, the one thing I would say is, and this is similar to at work, like at work, I've had a bad couple of years at work, and now I'm getting back to where I need to be. But I'm aware of that. I'm very self-aware. So I know that my work rate for a period while I was going through stuff wasn't great. It's now getting better. I know with this, don't get twisted. I can be, I back myself, in most walks of life. I back myself as a content creator when I work hard. But I also know my work ethic at the moment, like, and I spoke on this earlier, work ethic is everything. Flawless, that's you. You know this, Cass, that's Cass. At the moment, like, I'm not, and I'm a strong believer that you can never force anyone to do anything, especially us men. We do things when it's time. And like, I'm getting to the point and I'm starting to think about what next for DAPS, and whether it be content creation full time, whether it be for a certain period, I'm really, really trying to up the levels with Never a Foul. Whether it be like, one of the things I really want to do is like content away from football. Like, it's something that you got to remember, like we started this saying, it wasn't my idea to do football. That was Ty's idea. So there's other avenues I want to go into.
And we are definitely going to get into that. But before we go off that, like go to that, because obviously I'm asking you at the end about your future plans as an individual content creator and as Never a Foul. I mean, and as the Never a Foul brand as well. So this year, 2020. So what was it like seeing, even though you've been in dark places at times, even though there's been issues at times? Yeah, go on, fam, go on. Shout out to Double A, man. That's Double A.
No, that means a lot, because Double A is another one that was very relevant to the come up. He was part of Trafford Tunnel. He's somebody that I think he reached out to me when we were looking for more content creators, early doors for Never a Foul. He collared me, and straight away listened to him, saw something and thought, and he's involved. He used to be involved in the music scene. He used to play, my brethren, Mario, he used to play his stuff on radio in Manchester. My brethren from down here, you might have met at the barbecue. So, and me and Double A kicked it, did shows together. We had a show, what was it called? The City United.
He mentioned it earlier because he says, always appreciate Daps giving me a start in this space on Never a Foul. He's a real one.
And he's one that me and him drifted, I think. And what I would say with that is that it was, again, like, I wasn't in a good place. And I think one time he like tried to hit me up and I probably just ignored him because I was in that space. And you know how as men, we go our separate ways, and and it's always been one that stuck with me because I had a lot of love for Double A. And I think it was just two men that were being men that just kind of never reach back out. So hold tight, Double A, bro. We need to catch up, man.
Hey, shout out to Double A. One of the people that I enjoy doing most I mean, enjoy doing work with most. 100%.
He's proper, bro. He's like the minute he hollered, I said to Ty, listen to this guy. And I remember we were doing watch-alongs for I think the Euros at the time, and just his commentary was sick. He, like, hold tight, Double A, man. I've got nothing but love for you, bro.
Yeah, like 110%. Like, yeah, Double A, man, hilarious. Like I say, super. We do the show on Saeed. Shout out to Saeed's channel on there on a weekly basis. He has me creasing. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, and
shout out to
burn him. I know deep down.
Yeah, of course. F you lot.
He's one. He's one like the. Although he can talk with sense, bro. I know. Bro, there's a lot of you, man. That you can't like. You know what it is? It's the older lot. You lot can't. Hide.
I can't stand you lot. But what it is that people don't see it because me and you are cool. You know what I'm saying? Like me, and your critique of United, I can't critique. That's what it is. And that's testament to how good as a content creator you are, because you'll be like, United are bad. You won't start talking about United's history. Or you won't start talking about, United will be terrible for the next 25 years and it's the worst ever time in their history. Hold on, we've been relegated.
Bro, the truth
You've been relegated.
Yeah, bro, the truth is like, again, there's probably some people here that hear the Southern voice and they are like, why does this guy support City? Just quickly, Double A used to pull me up for this. Whenever I used to explain myself to people, Double A always used to say, you don't need to explain yourself, but I will, because this is a conversation. Right, so just real quick. Daps was born in Barnet, North London. My granddad was a Gooner. My real dad was from Boreham Wood, supported Watford, right? When I was 3, my mum upped and left my real dad, and we moved to Poynton in Manchester when I was 3 years old.
Oh, jeez, okay.
And my stepdad, who I called dad, he raised me as a blue. My sister, she's a blue. My niece and nephew, they're blues. And it was from the age of 3 till 16, I lived up there. I'll be honest with you, my real dad was initially trying to send me Watford shirts. Well, my stepdad's taking me Main Road, buying me City shirts. I'm going to say it was a no-brainer, but back then, it wasn't necessarily a no-brainer because of the quality of football. It was just a no-brainer because I'm going to games every week and I'm living in Manchester. So, but yeah, that's why I support City. Then moved back down here when I was 16. So there you go, quick one.
There it is.
But only, bro, I when the Premier League started, it was Man United. Man United were fucking like. There's no City fan of my age that will sit here and go, "Oh no, when I was a kid, United was shit." Like, bro. They were like City now.
Born into glory, man. Yo, man was And big up to Gunner every single time. He says, yo, lads, big up 2 great people. Shout out to Gunner. Because one thing I've noticed during these second wave editions, Gunner's name pops up a lot, people.
Yeah.
He has helped a lot of people. Daps mentioned him. Of course, Northside mentioned him as well. Sava mentioned him. Like, so many people have mentioned working with Gunner. And shout out to Gunner, because I'm blessed to be on Gunner's channel as well. So big up to Gunner each and every time. Shout out to my guy Don C in the cut as well. Hey, Don, man, big up family tree. Says, Daps, keep being real and never stop being you. Manners, appreciate Don C. Love Don C every single time. And you lot, subscribe to Double A's channel, and he's there. Daps was on Talking Kit on Double A's channel, explaining it all properly.
That was one of my favorite ever shows I've done as well. It was because it was. I think it was just before I went on holiday to the Maldives, and I was just like, them ones where you're going on holiday, you're like, we spoke about kits and whatever.
So. And it must be so. Obviously, before we get to the future, the way you've pivoted and the way you've been self-aware, even when you've been down, is credit to you, just as a person, number one, and 2, as a content creator as well. So, what was it like bringing when you brought in Cass, you brought in Mode, and you bring in Mons, and you're seeing the numbers go clear? What's that feeling like? Even if you're not there all the time, what's that going to be like? Because you've mentioned it on countless occasions.
Worthwhile.
Never a file's your baby. Talk about it.
It's worthwhile. Like it's like there really is something in this YouTube game. Do you know what I mean? Like that, seeing that you can make, like, it's funny because we always said when we started it, I don't know if you remember a podcast called Armchair Gaffers. You might not. I don't know if they're about anymore, but I'll tell you the name of who was involved in Armchair Gaffers. Scorcher.
Go on. Oh, jeez. Scorcher, one of my side note, one of my favorite grime MCs of all time. Scorcher. I got old school tracks of Scorcher. Big up Scorcher, man, for true.
Yeah, the one I Just Can't Go On. That was cold. Remember that about Merckson when he went prison? That rhythm was cold.
Yo, see, I'm talking like Scorcher. Like I got, you know what's crazy? I got the Scorcher like because he had the Go on them bar first. I still have that track on my PS3. You know what I'm saying? He had the Go on them bar. Like that's how much of a Scorcher fan I am. Like when him and Skepta were sending for each other. And
yeah,
I can't believe that he tried it. I showed him my Go on them bar and he liked it. Yeah,
so when we started Never a Foul, Armchair, a YouTube called Armchair, a channel called Armchair Gaffers started, and Scorcher was part of it, and another guy. I'm not going to mention him because of what I'm about to say.
That's cool.
Whatever,
it's
but
good,
he knows who he is. It's nothing but love. I followed them because I liked their podcasts, and they were a proper studio set up, and they didn't follow many people, but they followed me back, and I was like, rah. And then I reached out to them. We started chopping it up a bit, and then agreed for him to come on Chew the Fat, probably the show after you came on. And this is very early doors of Never a Foul. And basically, on the show, I mentioned how I knew about the channel, and I knew about the channel because one of my close friends who'd just got out, had been in prison with Scorcher, and had told me, yeah, my boy Scorcher's got this channel. So then afterwards, we realized that, like, the guy that started the channel and my boy were extremely close. And so we started fucking with each other quite a lot. And I remember both of us, because we were at a similar stage, us having this conversation where we said, like, that football YouTube is a 5-year plan, right?
Okay.
That don't expect to be making no money in the first year. By the second year, if you're not making good money, don't get downhearted. It's a grind. It's a 5-year plan. Now we're 4 years in. We've had setbacks, but now, like, I can see, like, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't pay my bills, but it certainly contributes, right? And it's not just me that's eating out of Never a Foul. There's a few of us, and this is with us not all working at probably our maximum. Like, if we were all working at our maximum, where could this be? And and so when I see the numbers, and especially, I think what I love is that we've taken a couple of L's, and it's been downheartening, but we've bounced back. And that's the bit, seeing the bounce back and seeing during the international break, and we're still hitting good numbers. That's good. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that shows me, stick to it. There's still something in this. So, I
love that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, for real, for true. And what was it like as the channel's growing? You're getting more and more notoriety. Was there anyone who reached out to you to be on the show and was like, whoa, I'm a fan of you, I've been watching you, and being recognized in public as well? Was there any times where you was like, this is really going to places? Nah,
not really, bro. I'll be. Do you know what? Obviously, the one was Lee. Like, having Leon was the one, because I think having Leon was inspirational, because it was, like I said, bro. I didn't watch football. I didn't even watch AFTV. I'm not going to act like I hadn't seen AFTV, but I did not watch and deep AFTV. I did not deep numbers. For me, I watched boxing, UFC podcasts, Chucky Online. I watched them. And even then, YouTube had never been like an avenue where I'd ever considered making money through. Like, it's not. Like, there's other avenues, and that wasn't one of them. So it was only when I started doing Never a Foul. And even then, at first, it wasn't about that. It's just about, do you know what? It's COVID. Let's get a couple of man them round and see where this goes. It was when Lee came on, and I saw, like, the power he had. Like I said, Rat Army, if you haven't subbed yet, sub live, smash the fucking like button, and watching them all go up, and I'm like, rah, like, this guy's calling man rats, and they're liking the button. Yeah. And it's kind of like one of them ones where, like, my daughter watches, it's funny because through this whole period, my daughter loves YouTube, and all the younger, like SS Sniper Wolf. My daughter loves SS Sniper Wolf, and like she's got a core following that follow her and will buy all her merch and whatever. And it was like seeing with Lee, seeing in this football YouTube world, also
loyal
content creators, people loyal people that can, like, that follow them everywhere, and that mods that are in there. And do you know what? Mods are some of the most underrated people in YouTube, because
my mod
they don't own channels. They don't but they ride or fucking die for channels.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like, they are some of the most underrated people in the YouTube game, like, because they're there before the stream starts, telling people to like it. They're there, like, having to, and even sometimes there will be fuckery going on in the comments. The mods are like, Superman, don't worry, I've got this. And they're on it. And it's like, wow, these lot really fucking, and
police it. They do. They police it. They protect it 100%. They don't let nothing go on in the
Lee
comment
Gunner
section.
had two back in the day. I think it was Rossi and someone else, who were like, but for me, he's probably the one that had the biggest impact. As far as big people like reaching out, now they don't really. I mean, look, I've had obviously like AFTV holler me to go on there, DR holler me to go on there, and that. But
what was that like? We ain't just gonna bypass that because not everyone can just get on AFTV or DR Sports. What was it like being reached out to by AFTV and DR Sports, being the juggernaut?
It was good. It was an experience. It was good. It was an experience. Some good people up there. Whole type Turkish showed me mad love. Turkish brought me in. Matisse forever, like the love he showed me.
Shout out to Matisse.
Trying to KG the comedian, fucking find the guy hilarious, and anytime I've had to do content with him. But you know what? Seeing that setup, seeing the whole AFTV DR media setup, goddamn, like even seeing someone there that's part of the behind the scenes team that I knew from a different life. Mad. But I'm not gonna come here and talk like it ended well with them because like, bro, like I have my theories for why I'm not on there no more.
Okay.
They're only my theories. They're not proven. But you know what? Usually at my age, I can read rooms pretty well and I can read people pretty well. By the way, I'm not overall talking about people that run DR. I'm talking about people involved there. It didn't end well. And it was, do you know what? It is what it is for me because they're that big that I was just a pawn anyway. I was never a big person. They helped to, but it kind of, I guess that period, because it was a period where I was doing okay financially by being on there quite a bit. Then all of a sudden I'm not on there anymore at all with no explanation. Again, that can impact a man's livelihood, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
So I mean, there's no animosity. It was as a contractor, you do work for someone, they get rid of you. I personally think there was reasons behind it, and I think it wasn't to do with the owners. It's more to do snaky fucks there. But it is what it is. So they're set up in awe of and that, but I'm not gonna. I'd rather not overly talk.
That's fair. But no, that's absolutely fine. Speaking of that, actually, let me get to. No, yeah, we actually will carry on because you did mention him there. Matisse, how did the link up come about with him? Because I want to know your road to Battle of the North, because I'm presuming you had a show with him. So Steve, talk about it.
So obviously, when me and Steve were getting close, and then every now and again Steve couldn't do Big Six, so I stepped up, did one.
Wait, what was? We're not just going to bypass that. What was that like stepping up to do Big Six, knowing the juggernaut that show is?
Well, it was. To be honest, it was not the right time for me because I wasn't in a good place. I was drinking way too much. And like Matisse has been sick. Like, for example, if anyone ever goes and watches, there's me and KG did a face-to-face before a derby. And I'll be real with you. Like, I was like, how the fuck? I think a week before on Big Six Extra, KG had cooked me to death with his soundboard, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking when I've been waived and I think City had just drawn with Southampton, United were in a good place because Casemiro was cooking. And I've had fucking KG dropping fucking bombs on me from his soundboard while I've got fucking Scouser, who I love, but it's a little shit. What's his name?
Who?
Oh,
Scouser.
Tom
Little.
No.
James Redmond. James Redmond.
Telling me I need to apologize for 115 in his Scouse accent. Yeah, I love James. I think he's hilarious.
Shout out to James Redmond.
Bro, when you're pissed off, you don't need a Scouser doing that shit. Yeah, the other side of the camera. I've got KG dropping bombs on me, all of that shit. And then, oh, by the way, next week you got a face-to-face with KG, the comedian. I'm going, cool, but for fuck's sake, this is long. And Matisse was like, that's like, I've seen you sober, I've seen you drunk. You have to go sober. Because when you're sober, you can cook, man. When you're drunk, you're like most men that are drunk in a pub. You're talking shit in someone's ear, right? Yeah. So I went down there sober, And I'm telling you, if anyone can go back and watch that, I cooked KG. He didn't have his soundboard, may I add, and me and KG have got we get on well, and even the filming for it beforehand, behind camera and whatever, me and him were just cracking jokes together, whatever. But I'm telling you now, go back and watch it. I cooked him. It was very easy, to be fair. This is City a year and a half ago and United a year and a half ago, But Matisse was the one that would often be like, Daps, like I said, can you watch it? Because I know you'll give me an honest answer. He was like, Daps, you fucking roasted him, bro.
That's good.
And that's where Matisse was like, he showed belief in me, getting me involved in Battle of the North. And he was aware, he'd holler me when he'd see shows where quite clearly I'd had a bit to drink and was rattled. And he'd message me and say, Daps, man, like you told me if I ever see you drunk on a stream to shout you.
Tell you, man. Hey, Matisse a real one, man. Matisse is such a real one.
He is. And from day, he's one that I want to see go all the way as well.
And he's gone clear.
One, two, he's cold. Three, his work ethic. He ticks all the boxes. Like he's one of them ones where there's people you meet on. Do you know what? You've been involved in the music scene.
Yeah.
I've been involved in the music scene. The one thing I have learned from the football YouTube world is it's the fucking same as the music scene, right? It's not about what you know, it's about who you know and how much money you got. Right?
Talk about it.
It's as simple as that. And there's clicks in the YouTube world, there's clicks in music, people decide.
Industries are very, very similar, even though it's different. It's a different industry.
It's life. I'm saying music and this is actually just life, bro. That is just the way it is. And once you get your head around that, it makes it a lot fucking easier to maneuver in it. Just know it is what it is. For example, the whole DR AFTV thing, where for whatever reason they've decided they don't want to fuck with me no more. Maybe my fault, by the way. Maybe my fault. Maybe I said things I shouldn't say about people and whatever. Maybe. But what that showed me at that point was, do you know what? The amount of money they actually wanted to pay me compared to actually where our channel's going.
Yeah. Cool.
Because me and Castle sit here this is my yard. I'm in an extension of my kitchen. You've been here, bro. And it made me realize actually I need to put more focus back into my own channel and not into...
So it made you reassess it and go, all right, let me double down again on Never a Foul. First.
Yeah.
First.
So, yeah.
Well, that's fair. That's fair enough. And like I say, Matisse is a real one. So that's why
Matisse
I wanted to know your backstory. Man.
Do you know what? There's a lot of real ones in and do you know what? I'll even go as far as to say, obviously some conversations I have with people around me about other people where they'll be like, oh, this guy's not real, he's fake. It's like, bro, this is just the business. We were never friends with them, right?
Business relationship.
It's a business relationship. There's people, Steve is a friend, yeah?
Yeah.
Flawless, I'll be honest, I would class you as a friend.
Oh, yeah, we brothers. 100%.
Mons is a friend, but then there's also people that are just other content creators. And I always say to people, in life, everyone has a use, right? And that doesn't make you a user because everyone, even if it's friendship, that is still a use, yeah? Everything has a use, and you just have to know the real ones that actually will shout you no matter what, and the ones that ultimately you were the flavor of the month. So, bro, you in a title race with Arsenal. Arsenal hadn't been in a title race for fucking 20 years.
Yeah,
you live close to London. You're a no-brainer to go and represent Manchester City. So they're going to shout you. It don't mean they rate you more than other City content creators. It means the other City content creators are trying to charge them too much. That's the truth.
First.
So you just got to know it and maneuver around it. And you create friends during it. And others are just business relationships. That's all it is.
That's true. I think that's fair. I think that's very, very fair. That some is just business relationships and some is true brotherhoods. 100%. Without doubt. No, you're right. You're right. Hey, you lot continue to run up the likes though. Subscribe to Never a File. The link is in the title, people.
By the way, did Mons do 4 hours?
Yes, Mons' was 4 hours. Mons' live stream was 4 hours. Yeah. Make sure people go check that out. It was a roller coaster of emotions. Northside, I think, was 3 hours. backstories was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And same way with yours here as well. Let me get to a couple of super chats as well. Big up to Mikel Arteta's hamstring. Big up for the super chat. Wild username. Says, get Cass on pronto. We have another day of the break. Big up to Marshall FC for the super chat as well. Big up to you both. Says Cass is a must tomorrow. Sarcasm City every day. This is the last one of the series, people. And the reason why it's the last one of the series is because I like to get at least 5 or 6. So I try and not use too many. Even the Sarcasm City specials that I did previously. The reason why I've not brought them back around, because not only do I want to get the correct people on in terms of their individual one, I want that week to be special. Legit. I want that week to be one of those weeks, and it won't be. And these specials are not every international break. Let me clear that up, because if it's every international break, it don't make it special. I'm just going to drop these on you lot.
Sorry, just while you do that,
oh, good, fam. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing, man. All good. The Sarcasm City TV special, so whether it's the second waves like now or the originals that I did, you know, the gold ones, the gold jacket, the GOATs and the Mount Rushmore candidates, I just dropped it. I didn't tell you lot. Even the second wave one, I only decided probably, I had the idea for a long time, but I didn't know exactly who to get on. I was weighing that up and when I was going to do it. And I only decided, the first one was Monday, probably decided maybe the Thursday, the Friday, got the thumbnail made a couple days before. Shout out to my guy every single time who makes my thumbnail. So yeah, like that's what it is. But you're gonna get another block of the Sarcasm City special second waves. You'll get another block without doubt, 110%. Also the specials as well. You know what I'm saying? Like the gold jackets, because I'm not with everyone on. And with some people, I'm not best. Yes, Cass, what are you telling me? You good? I'm not best saved. The best suited. That's what it is. You saying you good?
Yeah, man, I'm just on my bed, bro.
Yeah, calm. Look at the hat, man. This guy
is going to be making me my tea, blood.
I got the Hawk Tour hat, you know. This guy is crazy, yo. This guy got the...
I knew he was going to do that.
This guy got the Hawk Tour hat. Well, big up to everyone locked in, man. All real ones, I'm telling you, lot.
You know, it's funny when you go upstairs, yeah, and I've got YouTube on, and it's in the world. You know, when you leave YouTube on, it just gets into the world of algorithms.
Yeah.
It's currently Northside, and I heard you talk on this. It's currently Northside and Lee from Saturday night.
The international.
Northside was mashed in it.
Yeah. Yo, the way them man wind each other up, and to Love United, hate ops. I just explained all this that I do the block. If I do too many in this one, the second one's gonna be weaker. Yeah, that's what it is. Like that's what it is. So I carefully select these. Like that's why I don't do them every international break, and that's why I don't say, "Oh, I'm dropping like a series, a batch." I just do it. But don't worry, man. People, you lot going like the next ones I do without doubt, 110%. Where was we at? So pretty much told the whole story. Is there anything we've missed out on your journey? Anything we've missed out?
Nah, not really. Now, do you know what? Just shout out to everyone that supported the channel, really and truly. Like the viewers, the people commenting, people liked. Like I said, the mods, mostly everyone that's come on the channel. The good ones you meet through it, the shit ones that you learn from, and yeah. Now
I was going to get to that, Hooks. You took my question. I was going to get to that shortly. Don't worry, Hooks. We're going to get to that at the very, very end. Don't worry, man. We're going to get to that. Shout out to Hooks. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. So yourself.
Wait, well, actually, Hooks is another very, 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 very real one. He's fucking like, again, met him at, there's a lot of people that Cass does shows with during the day that I don't really... Like, there's some people that Cass has on during the day where I'm like, get them on at the night, because they're people that I could fuck with. Like, because like, and I think Cass tries to do that now. Like, there's certain people that I just can't really stream with because I don't respect them, to be honest with you. Like, well, it is what it is, and because there's people that will try and rattle me and whatever, and then like, well, you got to remember, like, we're gonna speak on the barbecues. We see people face to face, right? So when you see people face to face, you get to see people's energy, and when you see that some people's energy is very different way face to face, it's like, and you're coming on shows late at night trying to piss me off and bring my mood down, but then you wouldn't say boo to a fucking goose face to face. Now I can't. I can't respect you. So do you know what? It's better we just don't do shows with each other because I know I'll end up being the prick because I can't control my mouth, to be honest with you. So
no, that's fair. That's fair enough.
But when I met Hooks, from the minute I met him, bro, firstly, this guy's a giant. He's huge.
Yeah, right? People have been saying, that he's like, man, I'm saying 6'6". You know,
and his veteran that rolled with him is even fucking bigger. Yeah, bro, like them man. But, bro, he's like, I'm not gonna lie, he's one where like, it's nothing but love. Like the love he's shown the channel, the way with Cass, if Cass ever needs an Arsenal fan, he jumps in. And like, I keep saying to Cass, like, we need to redirect and get this guy up to 1,000 as quickly as possible. But apparently he don't want to do that. He just wants to do his uploads and whatever. But now Hooks is a real one. And see, like Hooks is one where, you know, where you watch someone and you see the way they are and it's like, okay, he's being shameless, but he's owning being shameless. Yeah. If someone owns the way they are, I'm here for it. Yeah. Because I know how to take it. It's when I can't get someone, I'm like, nah, it's best me and them don't. But now Hooks is a real one, man. People, Arsenal fans, non-Arsenal fans, go and subscribe to Hooks' channel. Yeah. And he did say the streaming is coming, and Hooks took the question from me. I was going to go to the Never Have Fought barbecues. I've been to one, thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. You know what I'm saying? Met a lot of people there for the first time, and obviously people I know as well. How did the Never Have Fought barbecues come about, and why do you make them a regular yearly thing? Because the first one was so lit. And like the first one was the first one was, if you imagine, so we started September 2020. The first one was around June 2021. So it's while the Euros were on. And this is when we were trying to turn the channel into a fucking TV channel. And we'd started getting a lot of people on board and whatever. It was like, you know what? Let's get everyone here. I'll go and get a load of food, load of drink and whatever. And let's just party, get to know each other. Because I'm someone I never wanted the channel to only be like this, where we're in separate rooms. Like deep down, I want it to be everyone, like, because that's better energy where people are in the same room and whatever. And I think meeting people, and it was a thank you to everyone, like getting the food and getting everyone together. And that one was cold. And then from that point, it was like, do you know what? Let's just keep them going. And that one, funnily, I can say this now, that one was mad, right? Because the first one, because I was still married and I was still happily-ish married, right? Okay, yeah. And like my ex, if I said to her, by the way, like I'm having X number of people around and I'm having a load of chicks around because some of the content creators were female, it was beef. So I was just like, she happened to be going away that weekend. So I just happened to have the barbecue that weekend. Within 5 minutes, something got smashed. And yeah, that barbecue. But like there was I'm not gonna say names, but I remember, and at this point I was still quite new to the YouTube world, and I remember one of the girls there wanted to bring a guy there, and so another girl came over and asked me, and I was like, "Who are they?" They were like, "Oh, just a guy from Birmingham." So I'm like, "Nah." You don't know who it could be. Yes. Like, Oh, yeah, now in hindsight, but I was like, a guy from Birmingham is not coming to where my daughter rests her head. Hell no. Yeah, and people made out I was a bad guy for it in there. Anyway, eventually, like, Ty vouched for him and he came. But yeah, it was that one was vibes during the Euros. And then after that, we've just kept it going. And yeah. It's good because the one I've been to was, I was discussing this with Northside, 2023. I was that one. I was at the one in 2020. Yo, I had a ball. Yeah, cool. Yeah, they're good, man. And like that's the thing. Northside's here every time. Who's been here at all of them, Cass? Like Northside's one of the Lewis. Oh, actually, do you know what? I've mentioned Lewis once, but I know Lewis, you and Lewis, like that's a prime example of two people that met through this and brother. Yeah. Bro, Lewis is like a real fucking one. Like I've got mad love for Lewis as well. Like he's a real one, clean-hearted. Absolutely. His shows are just carnage, and I fucking love them. Absolutely. You know what you're getting. Oh yeah, fully. Like it's funny because Lewis is one where I hadn't watched Lewis because obviously Chelsea.
Yeah,
and I'm not active in Twitter. And when I first came across Lewis, obviously this was probably when I first started hearing about Lewis. Chelsea had just won a Champions League.
Okay.
And I think Lewis probably had a WWE belt over his shoulder.
Yeah, shout out to Lewis, man.
And Lewis was mad, confident, like, yeah, my team's sick.
Yes.
By the time I started doing shows with Lewis on Coppish, Chelsea was shit. And I'm looking at this guy going, oh, it's like you know that OG, you know that OG that smoked too much crack and fucking's like, yo, I heard you were fucking the bad boy in the ends, and bro, you're like coming on going, yeah, another fucking loss. Fuck. I'm thinking, hold on, and I'm slowly seeing that. Oh, if that comes back, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah. I remember he was on here during that period because that's when we looked up. He was on the channel, Champions of Europe, every day of my life, yo. Every single day, he was on my channel saying that. Had me saying it outside of streams. That's how much I was hearing it. I ain't even a Chelsea fan. I was saying it that much because it's just catching. I heard it on a daily basis. Big up Lewis though. That's family too. Yeah. That's my bro. Well. Yeah. 100%. Help man so much in this space. So big up to Lewis every single time. So before we do indeed close out, your future plans with you from an individual standpoint, content creator, etc. You've already mentioned you want to branch out, and also never a foul as well. So 2 questions.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I've always wanted to have my own channel where it's not just football and it's whatever. Like, you know what? We used to have the show on Never a Foul called Chew the Fat, and that's something that to me, I want to have a show like that, a daily show. Like I've even spoke. Soups has moved in here now. Hold tight, Soups. Get well soon. He's in hospital. It's in hospital at the moment. You know, yeah, he's been in for a week,
man. Yo, Soups get well soon, man. Big up Soups though. I got nothing but love for Soups, man.
But like we spoke about maybe having a daily show where it's on whether it be on Never a Foul or a new channel where it's just when we both get in from work and it's just talking about shit that's frustrated us or anything that's gone on during that day, just getting it out there. But I want to do content away from football. But I'll be honest with you. For now, like for the foreseeable future, although I am going to start getting on some other podcasts, you'll see over the next few weeks that are not football related. I'm just doing what I'm doing with Never a Foul and seeing what happens in my life, in my day job, for a couple of months. I'm tempted to, you know what, like I said, give Never a Foul full time for 6 months, a year. And when I mean full time, I don't mean like doing 2 streams a day. I mean, while I'm not streaming, I'm in the back end trying to do business meetings, trying to really take it to next levels.
You all the way in on the industry. You're all the way in on the content. You're all the way in on the space, online and offline. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that's one maybe. But do you know what? It's kind of one of them ones where I said earlier, I'm just letting life at the moment and seeing where it goes. There's things in my head that I want to do, but for me, Never a Foul will forever be my baby. Like, obviously, me and Cass live together at the moment, and we've got this studio and whatever else, and we'll probably get bored of this and change it next summer. But that's just what we fucking do. This guy just orders shit for fun, bro. Like, we have one conversation, next minute there's Amazon deliveries and new shit arriving. But like, we have no plans of stopping. Like, we've even spoke about if eventually I settle back down, he settles down, and we go our separate ways, living wise. We'll probably rent a studio and we'll carry on doing it there. Like, we've come too far and we've ridden too many waves to give up now. So like, and where we are right now, we're in a good place, both of us. So
yeah, you're in a great place. The DC is, the channel is, like, you are doing fantastic work. Fantastic.
Will it continue if City get fucking found guilty of 115?
Yeah, definitely continue, because people can't wait to dance on your grave. So people will 110%. 110%. But will you get found? Is anything gonna? I'll say this now. Is anything significant gonna happen to you? Like, no. FA don't hand out no bans. Nothing's gonna happen. Most you'll get fined.
Yeah, for me, I look at like, obviously things I hear from the club. I look at things that are going on at the club, and like, there's not right. Let me say one thing. even if we were to be found guilty of some stuff, it's not going to be significant stuff that lead to City being relegated from the Premier League. Like, and anyone that thinks that's going to happen
is in dreamland.
Like,
I hope it happens, but it ain't gonna happen.
My sister's currently, the company my sister works for is involved in the extension of City. She's there twice a week, right? They're building hotels, a stadium expansion. You don't build hotels at a stadium for a championship club, right? You don't press forward with that. You go, whoa, hold fire. You don't, like, even it came out today. None of the players' contracts, even the ones we've signed last summer, none of their contracts have anything to do with the charges, right? That if we get, so we will see how it plays out. It's going to carry on until, and I'm so bored of it, bro. Salute to you for actually not being a channel that fucking just rides it out all the time because it's jarring.
Because I know that nothing's going to happen because the FA don't punish anyone heftily.
Nah.
When have they ever done it? The FA have never, people say, oh, they're going to get relegated. When have the FA ever relegated anybody?
Let alone relegating someone that brings the Premier League that much fucking money.
Exactly. They're one of the top earners in regards to watched. Whether they're first, second, third, or fourth, it's their champions fight. Like, come on. No, the FA are not fit. FA can't even get VAR right, but we expect them to be in this case against Manchester City, find him guilty, and then, all right. Like, they weren't out here. City already beat them in another case, nothing to do with 115 charges. Yeah. FA can't even get competent referees, but yet you think you're going to fight Manchester. All right. Good luck with that, man. Good luck with that.
And do you know what? The thing that I would say, any rivals, the positives that will come from it is that hopefully because of it, the Premier League fixes the fuck up, right? And you know what? Sorry, I'm going to use your club as an example.
Go on, talk about it.
Sometimes for something to fix the fuck up, it's not just one element. They need literally a complete restart. Yeah, like the Premier League, and I'm not saying the Premier League will, like Man United, Manchester United will always be Manchester United. Old Trafford will always be Old Trafford. A prime example is that your owners are even talking about Wembley of the North. Yeah, they don't get Man United, bro. Like, ultimately, calling anything Wembley of the North, and I know it's not the name, but even referring to it, Flawless as a Manc.
Yeah.
You lot don't like the South. You don't like Wembley. You don't like London. Yeah, like is. To have your club.
The thing is, I actually do, but that's just me. But there is yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, the North-South divides a thing. London, my second favorite city. London, my second favorite city in the country. I love it.
Someone said, "Oh, but didn't City have to do X, Y?" Yeah. As a City fan, I can tell you, there's things that we should have to do to get to where we are that Man United should never have to do, because Manchester United are Manchester United and Old Trafford is Old Trafford. Therefore, you don't need to refer to it as Wembley of the North because it's fucking Old Trafford, bro. Like, and you shouldn't need any sort of government grant because you're Man United, bro. That government grant is so you man can draw more money from us while someone else is paying for it. All of that. This is where, like, it's got to a point now where with Man United, it needs gutting, and I think as a fan base now, more than ever after what's recently happening with Ten Hag, I'm starting to think you lot really need proof when the Glazers go. Yeah, like, it can't be, oh, it's Ineos and this and that. Like, bro, you need gutting, right? You need gutting, but someone to come in that still respects you for being Manchester United and Old Trafford. Yeah,
we finished, man. I said this is why I didn't want Ineos in the first place. I said I didn't want him in the first place, and all they've shown me that during the entire time here, we ain't going to get into it in detail, is incompetence. I said before the season started, we're doing nothing of note. It's going to be a bumpy ride strapping. Told United fans this. We are doing nothing of note.
You know what? And the thing is as well, because I might be wrong, by the way, on some of this, but also we, as United fans, I think it's fair to say that Ineos also will make mistakes along the way, right? Manchester City... But bro, Manchester City,
you ain't made a mistake as bad as what we've done.
Gary Cook, that era was a bit shaky.
No, I'm talking about the one. I'm talking about the ownership you have now. I haven't made a mistake as bad as the ones we've made.
What I'm trying to say is that before the Spanish lot, we did have the Gary Cook era, which wasn't.
You got the Spanish people in to do the business. But I hear you.
Yeah, and I think with Ineos, if it is, I don't know. I still think it's Glazers calling shots. But anyway, that's a different subject. We can talk about that. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
fully hear you. Before we do indeed close out, people, again, run up the likes. We've got Daps's full backstory here, and a couple people asked in the chat. So we're gonna get to it as well because his name always mentions up one of my bros in this thing. What was it like working with Rants, and how did that come about as well?
So Rants, me and Rants on Instagram just used to like we followed each other and like. In fact, no, I tell a lie. The first time I worked with Rants was through our good friend Matisse. It was summer 2022, and Matisse was like, "I want to do a Love Island watch along," and I was like, "Cool, I'll get involved." So I got involved, and then Rants started coming on shows and whatever, and we're chopping it up. And then me and him obviously followed each other on Instagram, and like we never really spoke, but we like. If I posted something funny, he'd like inbox me laughing and like agreeing and just them, them ones where inbox just talking. And then he just reached out and was like saying, I want to start doing a city show and whatever. And so we started doing stuff. Now, to be honest with you, like, and we still speak now, by the way. We like, although the show isn't going ahead, me and him speak regularly. Obviously, Cass is on his channel, Mons is on his channel. Another real one, random redirects from Rants that help very nicely, and that's just out of nowhere, not asking, they just come. But to be honest with you, I kind of one day hope me and Rants do shows again, because at that point, because obviously I have my daughter and certain nights I just try to not stream because
of course I responsibilities, man. You're a dad. You're a dad.
And like because of, and obviously Rants was like, can you not do daytime at the moment? Because of my day job, I can't do daytime. So the show time that me and him did was on a Monday, and like anyone that know Monday evenings when Big Six are going, it's a bit techie because like, and Rants is one where Rants don't care if Big Six is live. Rants like, we're going live as well.
That's Rants for you.
But
that's Rants for you.
We know that does impact the people watching. Like, and I like, that's not on Rants, that's on me, because Rants is Rants. I'm only Daps at the moment, so like if it was Rants and Expressions, it would probably
it'd be ridiculous if them two went live together.
But it's Rants and Daps, so the numbers weren't great, but it was a good show. Nothing but love for him, and I hope like at some point maybe I can do a daytime show with him, and then it will get a lot better, because like I fuck with Rants fully. Like he's an interesting one for me, because he's one that if you don't speak to him and don't know him, like he's opinionated, in it, and people don't like opinionated people, and people have a perception of opinionated people, but your perceptions on most
people's perceptions are well wrong. People are like, oh, what's Rants like? Your Rants is cool
as
I'm saying,
like, and have time for you after the show.
Have time for you after the show. Any help you need. He's assisted me so much in this thing, like without doubt, 110% assisted me so much in this thing. Like people getting mistaken. Like, about his character and all that. Like, nah, man, Rant's a real one for true.
100. And actually, you know what? And he, although he's very clever, he also talks a lot of sense on some subjects as well.
Yeah. He is very, very clever, very intelligent, and you can see that. And also as well, he's got the bands that runs with it as well, 110%.
So now that was the Rants thing was Rants thing was good, and like I said, I hope eventually me and him chop it up again. I'm sure we will.
Sorry, say that last part again, Daps. What did you say?
I was just saying, and hopefully eventually the timing will be better, because
100%. Now you definitely did run that back, because the chat was asking as well. Anything else you want to add, fam, that we may have missed?
Nah, man.
Is that everything?
Just the one thing I would say is listen, comments, keep doing what you're doing, keep spamming away, all of that. Actually, real quick one.
Go on.
Can you remember about 2 years ago? 2-3 years ago, the comments were always full of fucking bots pretending to be
different people. Yes,
but
I remember
you were
that.
a regular one, bro. They were always pretending to. They've gone in it now.
Yeah, disappeared because lockdown's gone. I do remember that. Lockdown's ended. People are bored.
Were mad, bro.
Yeah, people are bored.
The speed people could make them accounts as well. But you were one of the ones. It was always flawless.
Always the time, always. And it's like, I'm just like, all right, cool. If you care enough to, to screenshot and then make a fake account that you know is going to get blocked, find something to do with life. But hey, we move. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, big up to you, man, for true.
No, thank you for having me.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
of course, man. This has been great. You know what I'm saying? This has fully been great having you on, getting your backstory, and that's what it is, to give you your flowers. And I didn't know about your story. It was like the intelligence to pivot when it made sense. You know what I'm saying?
I can be clever at times, bro.
You're very smart. Like, because it's that self-aware to go, this ain't working, do this. All right, this is the idea. All right, cool. This has run its course. Bringing people in, having that's very egoless to be able. All right, let me bring in people, etc., who can do. Okay, I'm not doing what I need to do. Let me remove myself from this. Props to you. You know what I'm saying?
Love.
Real. And that's what it's about, man. So you're going to continue to thrive as much as whether you do even more streams on Never a Foul, whether you do like less, whether you keep it the same, and whether you go out and do and do other things like you mentioned, branched into other areas also. But big up the chat, big up everyone that's locked in, run up the likes, hit the subscribe button, all of that good stuff, people. Make sure you do so. Please make sure you do that. Subscribe to Never a Foul. Link is in the title as well. Don't forget those fake flawless is full Baines. Yeah, I could imagine.
Baines was another one. Baines was
all the time. This was a GOAT stream. Yeah. The series is next level content. Big up Flawless and Daps. Hey, double A, big up, man. And you lot, this is the last one of the series, but there is a playlist. So all of the Sarcasm City TV special second wave editions, all of them are all on the playlist. The Sarcasm City TV specials I did 5-6 months ago, where Gunner was one of them, Rants was one of them, Matisse, etc. There's a playlist for those as well. But this one and all the other Sarcasm City TV specials that have happened this week are available on audio-only platforms, people. So Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, all available on there. But run up the likes, hit the subscribe button. Daps, man. No one better to close out this with you know what I'm saying, this series.
Love, so, and
I appreciate you having you on.
I'll just finish it with football is back. Brentford.
Yeah, bro. Jeez.
You must.
Must lose, Jesus. But hey, love to everyone in the chat. Let me big up everyone who super chatted as well, man. So big up to JJ Ash, Love United Hate Ups, Tony Claude Gunner, Big Steve, Don C, Michaelates Hamstring, Martial FC, Love United Hate Ups. Big up to every single one. So big up to everyone who super chatted. Big up to all the members. Big up to all the mods, all the regulars, all the new people that joined as well. Much appreciated as well. So love to everyone that's locked in. We're going to redirect to my brother Sheik, who's doing his career mode right now. So we're going to redirect to my bro Sheik. But this has been the Sarcasm City TV special, second wave edition, special guest Daps, Never a Foul, live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in.